Well, welcome everybody. No. I would like to call this meeting to order. It is, I don't know,
all right, let's get to the announcements.
On December 18th,
new career opportunity. Boxborough is seeking an experienced
has water in his basement, so he will be dialing in when he can, if he can. So yes, so I hope everybody out there has checked their basements.
Usually he's in his basement when he dials.
Well, that's me. Oh, geez, no. Okay, then. All right, let's get to the announcements. All right, new career opportunity. Boxborough is seeking an experienced, passionate, and energetic public finance professional to serve as the town's first finance director. See the front page of the town's website for more information. The Council on Aging is encouraging seniors who currently receive their Buzz newsletters in their Gmail to switch to an email version. Kelly, do you know what that means?
I do.
Dave knows what it means.
So instead of getting the buzz through the mail, you get it, I assume, a PDF through the email, and that's going to save the town, I think it's 65 cents maybe for every one that they send. So they're trying to do that as a cost-saving measure.
Okay. The announcements say in the Gmail. That's what confused me. I'm like, isn't the Gmail email? Like.
Well, to some it is, yes.
I'm teasing. The World Wide Web. All right. Anyone on the email list by January 1st will be put into a drawing for this is back to the Council on Aging. Anyone on the Buzz email list by January 1st will be put into a drawing for a $25 gift card. We hope that will reduce our printing and mailing costs. Please email Kim at kddee@boxborough-ma.gov or call her at 978-264-1717 if you have any questions. Thank you for explaining that.
Right.
The COA also has an entertainment program, Magic Moments, for seniors on Thursday, December 28th at 1:30 p.m. at the Boxborough Community Center. Illusionist Lynn Dillies will perform illusions that defy the eye and intrigue the mind. Call 978-264-1717 to sign up. That sounds fun. All right, that was it. That's all we've got. Here is the little public input information that we read at the beginning of every meeting. We'll be taking public input on or about 7:20 this evening. So anyone who wishes to speak will be asked to raise their hands at the beginning of the meeting, or at the beginning of public input, so everyone can be recognized. Ray John will make a list of people who want to speak, and all attempts are made to alternate between people physically in the audience and those attending via Zoom. Every person will have 3 uninterrupted minutes to speak to the board, and if questions are asked, we'll answer them if we can, but if we can't answer them for any reason, the town administrator will follow up with you or post your concern to a future agenda. Every person will be allowed to speak once during public input. If more than 8 people want to speak during public input and we reach our time, we'll continue it to the end of the meeting, just so we can stick to our agenda timeline, respect everybody's time and energy. Now, this does not count for agenda items. For agenda items, you get 2 minutes. You get to talk once on any agenda item, so it doesn't mean you can never talk again. But we're just kind of parsing it out into 2 different ways to engage. Alrighty, that's it for announcements. How about the town administrator's office reports?
I'll turn it over to Rajan. He has a couple of updates.
Good afternoon, everybody. So just to give everyone an update on staffing for the town, I'll start off with public safety. We currently have 2 police officers, one of which will be presented tonight in front of the select board, 1 full-time police officer and 1 reserve officer who have been hired, and one has completed most of the process. The other one is still going through the background process, but they both received conditional offers to start with the police department. We also have a full-time firefighter who will be starting next year, who will be coming in front of the board to fill in for the additional staff position that was approved at town meeting for the fire department. Today, we recently we're working with MRI to do the advertisement and recruitment process for the finance director / town accountant. So that was actually posted on MMA as well as some other municipal hiring boards, and we post it on the town website as well as social media as well. The deadline for applications for that period is going to be January 16th. We're still doing active enrollment for the assistant town accountant position as well. I'm still advertising for that one. And just a few more updates. We recently, the town planner has given us a recommendation for the intern position to support the Economic Development Committee. They went through an interview process, so we're in the process now of formalizing an offer letter for that candidate. So that candidate will be starting the middle of January next month.
Nice.
And
Is that a full-time or part-time, Rajan?
it's a part-time per diem position.
Okay.
It's an intern, so it's
Okay,
a student working for the town.
thank you.
So, John, that's not the same as the assistant planner, right?
Correct, that's different.
That's different. And for the associate town planner, that position is still open. I'm having some difficulties hiring for that position, but we still have that position open and available, taking applications whenever we receive them. And I believe that is currently all for right now as far as on the recruitment front.
All right, no, it sounds like you've gotten a lot done. I'm not gonna skip you this time.
Well, I passed on my time, but I don't have an announcement, but I do want to give a shout out to our tremendous public servants who are out there all day today, working to get trees out of the road, clearing, drainage grates, keeping buses, vehicles moving, keeping our buildings running. So police, fire, DPW, and I know the folks over at Littleton Electric, they did a tremendous job. And I think people here know how fortunate they are with the public services they have in that regard and being served by Littleton Electric. But I just want to give by comparison, I got a text about an hour ago from my wife who said the estimated time that we're gonna get our power back on in Rentham is noontime Wednesday.
Well, maybe you'll want to shower here then.
So,
Yeah.
so I am looking for somebody to take me in for a couple of days.
Who's got a clean guest room? Oh, Kirby's waving.
Kirby's volunteering.
Kirby's waving.
Now I'm scared. But anyways,
Oh, my word.
our folks have really done a tremendous job. I heard
Yeah.
sirens going all day long, and coming in, you saw the trees, the limbs, the water, everything.
Bless
I
you.
know people have water in their basements. It was bad. It was a bad storm. It is worse in some places, but if folks do need assistance, please reach out to Town Hall or Public Safety, and we'll certainly assist in any way we can.
Hey, Mr. Gray, I see you on Zoom. Are you there? Maybe not. Oh, there you are. Hey, Sean, do we offer to help pump out people's basements? Is that something the fire department does?
They're doing it as we speak, I believe, right now.
Oh, awesome. Well, I mean, good, and I'm sorry for the people they're pumping.
Well, we went over to one house this afternoon, assisted them, gave them pumps. They had like 4 feet of water.
Oh, I'm
Went
sorry.
to another house who basically their backyard was coming into the basement. We redirected water there, got their water out of the basement so they could handle it. And last I knew, they were over at another house pumping it within the last hour or so on a different street.
Okay.
So
All right, no,
keeping up.
I just thought of it when I saw you up there. Is that something that we can either have on the fire website or Facebook or town, that if people are in dire need, they can call the fire department? I mean, I know you're not in the business of pumping out basements, but I'm wondering how many people know that's actually something we can help with.
They call us for everything, so we're there. The thing about Boxborough is usually, as long as we have power, we're usually good.
Uh-huh.
It's when we lose power, like for the ice storm, when we had the ice storm that year, I think we pumped out 70 basements that time. Around.
Okay. So people could call 911, that's a logical
Yep.
thing to do?
Yep.
Okay, sound good. But Bob's giving me crib notes here, but I just want to make sure. Chief Shevchuk, do you have any updates from the police department? How'd you guys do today?
Everything's good. They were out there all day helping out, public works, good job, and fire department. Looking good, but a lot of rain.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys are here tonight. Thank you for everything. And I want to reiterate what Mike said. We are so fortunate to have Littleton Electric and so fortunate to have the DPW. Tony?
That was a question.
Yeah, of course.
Tony, you want to get to the mic?
Oh, Kirby's going to yell at you if you don't go to a mic.
Mic.
Pass Tony the mic.
Rajan, you mentioned we had 2 new officers in the police. So as of October the 1st, we were 5 heads down in protection total. How's that stand now?
What do you mean by protection? Do you mean police
Protection, I
officers
think
and
it's
dispatch?
fire, police, all of
For
the
everybody. Okay,
Yeah, so
be clear.
we on a planned heads with 32, we had 27 at 10 at October 1st. So
It's
are we?
probably easier
how-
to break it down by department than combine it like that. Since we have both chiefs here, maybe you guys could address that.
Yeah.
You want to speak for the, John will go first and then Sean?
After, after tonight, we will be down 2 full-time officers, and we will be up 2 part-time officers. So obviously, the full-time are here more, and we want to continue to hire 2 more, but we are supplementing them with more part-time certified officers. So down 2 after tonight, but 2 additional part-time officers. So the net number is actually the same, but capacity, yeah. So if you look at the part-timers as working 50%, then I guess you could say we'd be down 1 in that regard. But we are actively recruiting. We've a lot of interviews. However, as I mentioned last time, we are, we're not extending a job offer to everybody. We're being pretty stringent with backgrounds and the interview process. And I'm really excited about introducing tonight the full-time officer is here tonight. So I think you'll be very surprised or very excited to meet our newest officer.
Wonderful. Sean, do you want to fill us in? How's fire doing?
I'm sorry, the question? I'm trying to do multi
Tony was
here.
just asking how we were doing for public safety officers, and he had put them all together as 5 public safety officers, police, fire, dispatch, and I thought it'd be easier to break it out. So how are you doing at the fire department?
We're doing good. Our staffing's where it should be. After the first of the year, we'll add that 1 more full-timer. That'll finish out the 4-year plan of adding 1 a year, so we'll have 2 full-timers on every group, and then in the Monday through Friday person, so we'll be at the 9, which was the plan over the last 4 years. Our part-timers still coming and going. We still have our regular people, but after the first year, we'll probably be looking to add another 1 or 2. We do have, just to get those back up, because we've had a few part-timers get hired to other departments, so their availability has been real limited as of late, because they got to get off probation and stuff where they're at.
Okay. All right. Tony, does that answer your question? Awesome. Anything else?
Enough for me.
Oh, good. I wanted to, who decorated? This looks so nice. Do we know?
Kelly,
Kelly, it looks wonderful. Thank you. It looks really pretty.
that's in preparation for, obviously it's for this evening, but it's also in preparation for the employee and volunteer luncheon that's going to be, holiday luncheon that's going to be this Wednesday. We're putting out word that town hall will be closed, so that all the employees all across town and volunteers from all of the town's boards, committees, and commissions can come here from noon to 1:30 and get together for holiday luncheon.
It was really fun last year. Last year, that's when I met you for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, so all right, well, I hope everyone can come. Moving down the, Dave, anything?
I would say one thing, on Sunday, I went to the Katie Delamore
The Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
Wes did a fine job representing Boxborough.
Excellent. Thank you,
there was-
Wes.
Wes spoke, and I'm sorry, I forgot her last name, Fran, who's on the Acton Select Board, and Jamie Eldridge all spoke,
Wonderful.
as well as the parents. Really nice ceremony, well done, and she's a very lovely young lady.
She built bridges in our trail system? What did she build?
No, she built either nests or something for the, okay.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
I'm
yeah,
so
it's the name of the-
sorry.
it's the name of the
I'm
bird.
so sorry.
It's like
No,
a
the
little
last
hawk.
Eagle Scout built the
Yeah.
bridge.
It was, but they had to put them in different places, so I think she built these maybe one at Steel Farm, one at Flora, and different
Nice.
places around town.
We'll have to ask Rita Grossman.
Halfway
She'll know.
through the meeting, I'll think of what the name of the
Okay.
bird is. Katie
Just
will be
shout out.
disappointed at me that
know.
that I already forgot about the name of the bird, but it was a very nice ceremony.
Good for her. It's a lot of work to become an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, and I don't know. There was I don't know if we talked about it last time, but anyway, there was a lunch at the Council on Aging. Friends of the Council on Aging put on a lunch. I think it was last Wednesday. It was very nice, very well attended. The magical singers came in.
They're so talented.
They were fabulous. They
Yeah.
were very professional because they have the wonderful costumes and so it was we I think everybody that was there really enjoyed it. So that
Nice.
was hats off to big thanks to the Friends of Council on Aging and for putting that on.
Excellent.
And I think that's it for today.
All right. Priya, you how did you last week? Did you have fun? Thank you for covering for me.
Yes, I think I managed.
I asked
She
if you
managed
had
very
fun.
well. She
I
managed
asked
very
if you
well.
had fun. That's a different question.
It was fun till the end.
Oh, how's your husband doing?
He's doing okay.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for all the support. I mean, he was overwhelmed, but
Well, he should
with
know
how
we all
many
care.
people like called and texted and offered to help.
Yeah, no. For those who don't know, Priya's
Very
husband was in a car accident, a pretty bad car accident, so we're glad that he's doing better. Good. All right, any other updates for everybody, or? All good?
No.
All righty, moving along. Public input. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share with the board or the town? All right, seeing nobody, y'all missed your chance. All right, moving right along. Approval of the December 5th, 2023 minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at them? Any
Yes.
edits? You know I'm looking at you. We depend on Dave.
I have no edits.
What?
Well, yeah,
Are you disappointed, Kelly? Are you kind of sad?
I was looking for the last meeting and it was like, oh, wait a minute. So it goes
It was
back
the
2 weeks.
meeting before.
Yeah. So we're a little behind. But no, I read through them and I was good with that.
You're happy with them? All righty. All right, then I'll end it. I move to approve the regular session minutes of December 5th, 2023 as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All righty, we're good. Well, we're a little early, but Chief, would you like to present your new officers? Did you warn them?
I did. This is exciting to be here tonight. 2 weeks ago was here, and I think I think it was 2 weeks ago, we brought you two officers, both probably combined 40, 45 years experience combined, and that's great. And you need that in a department. It's important, but it's also important when you bring on people with experience to bring on younger officers, officers who are going to, take the mantle and become leaders over the next 5, 10, 15 years. So I'm really excited to bring forward tonight an individual who and I'll talk about the reserve officer second, and I'll start with the full-time officer first. Diasmar Reynoso, we interviewed about a month and a half ago, and we've gone through an extensive background. We're very, very excited to bring him on. He's got 2 years with the Air Police Department where he's worked. He's bilingual, which I think is very, very important, and that'll be very helpful in our community here. Again, only 2 years experience, but I think that's a real positive because he's very eager to learn. Graduated from the police academy in 2021 and has been there. So I think we're really excited to have him. He's got his associate's degree from Mount Wachusett Community College. And one thing that I was most impressed with, well, I'll talk about two things I was impressed with. One, he talked about the culture. He talked about community relations, and that was really important to him. And number two, and I don't want to embarrass them, but we share a co-response clinician with a few other towns, and Air is one of them. And when you get a background and a reference from your co-response clinician talking about what a great officer he is and how he treats people, and I'm not talking just co-workers in the chain of command, I'm talking about other people in the police department, your co-workers, the people you don't necessarily have to answer to per se, but they're your co-workers, your administrative assistant, your co-response clinician. when people like that sit there and they tell you how he treats individuals in the department, and again, not just other officers, but civilians, and how he treats the community and gives a great recommendation in that regard, that really felt comfortable with this officer, even though he's younger. And again, his excitement to learn and continue to grow with the community here in Boxborough. So he's here. I probably spoke too much, but I'd love for him to say a couple words.
Diasmar, welcome. Welcome to Boxborough. How are you tonight?
Thank you. How you guys doing?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. So is Air crying right now because you came over here? You can wave to them.
I've been trying to, leave for the past year and a half. I've met a few people from the Boxborough PD working details. They told me Boxborough looking to hire new officers. They say a lot of great things about the department, the town. Doing my research, and I was like, this is something I want to be part of, and then that's when I decided to apply, and this is where I am right now. I'm kind of excited. I'm super excited to start working for the department in the town.
So what's the other language you speak?
I'm fluent Spanish. I'm Dominican.
Dominican. Oh, I was just down in Aruba. Dominican, nice place to be.
Yeah,
Are you a little sad and you're here in the rain and not in the Dominican?
I've been in this country for 14 years, so you get used to the weather and just deal with it. So,
Do you get to go
Yeah.
home and visit very often? Or
No,
go back and
to be
visit?
honest-
This is home now. Do you get to go back and visit?
I haven't been back once.
No.
14 years now.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe that'll change. So what do you like
Yeah,
to do on your
hopefully.
days off?
I have a 2-year-old son.
That's
I'm
enough.
not working.
Everybody in the audience went, yep, that's it.
We get it.
Have you,
If I'm not working my shift, I'm either working in detail, or if I have a time, I go to the gym to stay fit, mentally, physically,
Nice.
and then I spend time at home with my kid and my wife.
Have you checked out the new playground at Liberty Field?
To be honest, I don't know much about Boxborough yet, but once I go FTO, I'm gonna be driving around the town to know more about the town and the geographic and the business and stuff like that.
Great. Yeah, it's brand new. My grandkids love it. There's also a new one down in West Acton, and there's a toddler playground in Littleton. So you probably already know about Castle in the Trees. Lots of things to do with 2-year-olds
Yes,
outside where they can play. Boy or a girl?
as a boy.
Well, congratulations. Anybody else
Thank
have
you.
anything, words of welcome for Diasmar?
I would just say welcome. It's nice to have you joining us, and you look very handsome with your shirt and tie on. So welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
We had a call just over this weekend, and he provided mutual aid.
Oh, no way,
Very,
really?
very helpful.
Put to
So
work
he's-
right away.
He's a little familiar with the town, but he's going to become more familiar. We're very excited that he'll be joining us.
Excellent. All right. Well then, are we ready to appoint? Everyone good? Okay. I move to appoint Diasmar Reynoso as a full-time police officer to the Boxborough Police Department for a term ending June 30th, 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? I'm good. All righty. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. You're in.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
We're glad you're here. The finance
Thank you.
committee is here tonight too. You'll get to know everybody. And if you need anything, everyone up at this table is, available if you need us, so.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Oh, somebody warned Erica not to come, huh?
Erica has, we talked about flooding in the rain.
Oh,
and,
no. Yeah.
So it was about 3 or 4 inches in her basement. So she couldn't make it tonight. Erica Abro is the number 2 at Dean College. She's a captain there. She's been there for quite a few years. Again, the number 2 in charge. She also is a part-time, part-time reserve officer in other couple small communities, and she'd like to come here. And she made the commitment to work 3 or 4 shifts a month, which is what any new officers in the reserve role that we're asking them to do. She interviewed tremendously. We're really excited to have her. I think it's important we diversify the department and get more women officers as well. That's very important. So I think that's a good thing.
Would she ever consider full-time chief? or-
We've tried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's number 2 at a very good position she has.
Ah,
We've
okay.
we've certainly inquired many times, but I think she's going to be a terrific addition. Quite a bit of experience. She's got experience in sexual assault investigations, which is important. She's also a RAD instructor, which is something that the Council on Aging, Kim at the Council on Aging has asked about if we had anybody, and we
Can you
don't
tell us what
currently.
RAD is?
The technical
Or the gist of it?
rape, aggression, defensive. She's an instructor for that. So generally offered to seniors and self-defense, of course, in that. And she is an instructor in that, and that's something that I've talked with the Council on Aging about maybe providing a class down the road for the seniors. So, I mean, things like that. She's fully certified in. She's actually one of the communities she works in. She's the backup school resource officer. So she's utilized quite a bit. We were really
Sounds talented,
excited
yeah.
to get her and to make the commitment to work a couple shifts a week of a lot of experience. So I think we'll be really happy with her. So we're asking for her appointment as well tonight. She can come to
Wonderful.
another, certainly.
All right, we'll have
we'll bring
to
her.
interrogate her another day.
Yeah.
I have to say, you know, for realtors, they do a lot of the realtor safety, and we have classes like that. It'd be great if she'd be willing to put something on, not just for seniors, maybe just opening it up to the community. We could do it here, maybe at the gym. Yeah, I think that for community involvement, that would be, or engagement, that would be a great program to offer.
We were looking into it there's an Acton officer who's certified, but now that we have somebody on board, we'll have somebody on board. I think it'd be great if we get a Boxborough officer to do that.
Or if they did it
So,
together even, because then it's a man and a woman doing it together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
wonderful. Well, Erica, you're not here. I hope your basement dries soon. And we'll talk later. All right, I move to appoint Erica Abro as a reserve police officer to the Boxborough Police Department for a term ending June 30th, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
I didn't give you guys a chance to ask the chief questions. I apologize. Any questions for the chief?
No, I don't have any questions. I have a comment, though, when I looked over the resume. There's so many places she's working. She's probably a pretty good pipeline for anybody else that might.
Oh, I didn't even think about
If she could
that.
talk up the town, if anybody, oh, yeah, no, I work in this great town of Boxborough now, so.
She interviewed tremendously. She has a master's degree, very educated, a lot of experience. I think she'll be a fine addition. Like you already asked, we tried to see if she was interested in full-time, maybe down the road.
Yeah.
But
I like Dave's
yeah.
idea, though, where she's well-connected, you know, if she has a good experience, maybe do a little networking.
Yeah, so, sounds like a good hire, chief. Thank you. Okay,
All
so.
good? All right,
It was
moved and
moved and
seconded.
seconded.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All
Welcome,
right.
Erica.
Yeah, welcome, Erica. All right, new business. We have a couple of one-day licenses to approve. So, Mike, do you want to, or Ray John, do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Sure. So this is for the Winterfest. So the Recreation Commission is sponsoring this event. We've got a license for True West Brewing Company, and their paperwork is all in order. So they're ready for you to approve. There is one other one here,
Oh.
a little further down the list. And it is,
Oh, where?
which?
No, I have the common victualers and alcoholic beverage. There's one more?
The one for, isn't there one for, what's it called, the Fat Booster?
Yeah, that's for the common.
Oh, for the common vic, okay, we're not to that yet.
Okay, so this is for Winterfest. So True West is going to be at Winterfest. Wonderful. Do you know what they're bringing? Beer, cider?
I don't know.
They said all. All right, then, we'll take it. Have we ever had alcohol at Winterfest? Oh, okay. Clearly, I haven't been for a few years. All right, then, any further questions or discussion?
Sounds good.
All right, I move to approve a one-day alcoholic beverage license for the Boxborough Winterfest, January 27th, 2024, with a snow day of January 28th, 2024, to be held at 484 Middle Road in Boxborough between the hours of 1 p.m. and 4 p.m.
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Okay, so the next one is for Fat Rooster, who must be bringing a food truck?
They're bringing a food truck. They are on the approved list with the Board
Board
of
of Health.
Health. So we're comfortable with them. We are waiting on a signature on their application. I'm comfortable if the board is, with approving it contingent getting that signature before we release them, to go in their way. That's the only thing we're waiting for.
Thoughts?
Yeah. They're approved by the board, and it's
Like, they're all
Board of
licensed
Health,
and
yeah, all right.
approved in that regard.
Okay. All right, don't be handing that out until we get everything. All righty. Anyone know what they serve? Just curious. Fat Rooster?
Rooster?
Chicken sandwiches? Except you don't eat roosters, but let's not go there.
Apparently not eggs.
Yeah, no, that's true. Okay, I move to approve a one-day common victualer's license for the Boxborough Winterfest to be held January 27th, 2024, with a snow date of January 28th, 2024, at 484 Middle Road in Boxborough between the hours of 1 and 4 p.m., pending signature from Fat Rooster and their receipt of their federal ID number.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Okay, moving right along. All righty. So, we have the Finance Committee here with us. We're a little bit ahead of schedule. We're going to start the fiscal year 25 budget overview. Mike will be presenting. Now, we're all adults. There's a lot of information here. There's cookies in the back. There's bathrooms out there. Do what you need to do, and let's have some fun.
Kristen, can you just say that we called to order before we got on TV?
Yes, yeah, the Finance Committee called their meeting to order before we were on television. Yes. Yep. All righty, so we are all good. All right, take it away, Mr. Johns.
Okay, so this is the initial presentation of the FY25 operating budget. And I will, as we go through, I'll point out some of the assumptions that we've made because we're very early in the process and there are a lot of uncertainties this year. So next slide, please. So first I want to talk about budget roles and responsibilities. Then we'll get into the overview, the goals and assumptions, challenges this year, as well as possibilities that of paths we might be going down with this budget. Next slide. Okay, starting from the top, roles and responsibilities. It's the responsibility of the select board to set the budget priority for the town, and we'll get to that in a few slides. Next is the department heads working with their departments, and also applies to boards, committees, and commissions that have a budget, an operating budget, to actually put that together and submit that to the town accountant and myself. Next, my job is, along with the town accountant, to assemble that budget and then look at the revenues versus the expenses and make sure that we present a balanced budget. And then from there, after this evening, after presenting it to the select board and the finance committee, then it goes to the finance committee for them to do hearings as needed with different departments, boards, committees, commissions, as well as anyone who might be putting a warrant article on the annual town meeting warrant. And then the final stop for the annual budget is at town meeting. This year it's May 13th, and that's where the voters are the executive body who make the decision on what the budget is. So again, department heads and board chairs, it's their responsibility to put together a department or a committee budget. My job with the accountant is to assemble that into one balanced budget. It's the finances committee's job to review the budget and make a recommendation to town meeting, and then the voters have the final say. In a slide or two, then we'll get to the first part, which is select board making the vote on the budget priority for this year. Next slide, please. So I'm recommending that the board consider a level services budget. And so there are a number of different kinds of budgets that the board could consider. A level funded budget would mean that we use the same exact money as the previous year, which due to inflation would mean that typically it would be a services reduction. A level services budget, which is what I'm recommending, means the money may not stay exactly the same, but the level of service that residents and stakeholders have come to be used to and expect would stay the same, but due to inflation and other cost increases, that the budget amount might go up. And then another type of budget that sometimes you see, but I'm not recommending this evening, is level services with advancements. In other words, new programs, new offerings, that sort of thing. So the next thing would be that I recommend the board consider voting whether you want a level funded or a level services budget for this coming FY25.
So how do you want to have the discussion? I want to engage the FinCom too. We're all here together. Do you want to go through each page? Are you opening it to that discussion right now? How do you want to have this? I want to have a conversation. How would you like to manage that?
Sure. I can show you what I'm recommending as we go through the slides. I think basically it comes down to, do you want the same services, better services, or reduced services to save money? Is the basic options. So would you rather hold off on a vote until we get to the end?
I would, because I know the way I'm thinking about it, I don't know how you guys are, is I would love enhanced services. That's not in the cards this year, not happening. So I personally would like to at least see level services, not level funded, but I also recognize when we get to the bottom and see what the numbers are, we might have to make some difficult decisions. So I think that for this preparation, I'm comfortable with level service, but what do y'all think?
I agree.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Level services sounds good to me, but I don't know what's coming around the corner with the school budget.
Well,
So that's kind of what part of me leans more toward, level funded, just to sort of offset that hit that we're going to get. But
I feel like, even if it is the schools, right? We shouldn't be punishing others for the schools. I think it should be, the schools have an issue, we should try to take care of that from that angle. We need to look at the schools solely by itself and see what can be done at the school level.
Yeah.
So.
Does anyone remember from the presentation with the superintendent, the percentage of people in Boxborough the percentage of households in Boxborough that have children in the school system?
It's 25%.
That's what I remember too. So that I would agree with Priya. The problem with doing level funded is the only way to do that would be to cut services for 75% of the households who don't have children in the school. That's the dance that we're going to do this year. I know.
Well, what are those services that are being cut? That's a detail that I'd be interested in seeing.
We'll get there, yeah. What's FinCom thinking?
So the FinCom's point of view, before the school kind of imploded, we sent it out, and we sent it to Mike, and he sent it out with his budget info, was level services. Our preliminary discussions have all been level services. I don't think any of us really want to see deep cuts on the town side to fund the school. But, honestly, the school's not even coming up with any numbers. They had an ALG meeting again this morning, and there's no numbers. And the next time they're going to meet is not until January 8th. So I think Mike and I talked a little bit today. I think we need to put forward a budget. We need to put in 6.9%, because that would be if the override fails. That's sort of the bottom line for the school. And we just need to work on our budgets.
If Acton's override fails.
If Acton were to have an override and it failed, right.
Everybody watching at home.
Right. If Acton were to have an override and it failed, 6.9 would be within the 2.5% that they could go up.
Okay.
So Mike and I talked, and I think you might see two versions. I'm not gonna get ahead of him, but at a minimum, we'll have the 6.9 in there. But and we've not had a lot of conversations about it, but we started this budget year with level service. And we budget pretty conservatively, and I don't think we can really afford a lot of cuts on the town side. We've been there, we've been very conservative. We're finally getting to a point with employees where we got some redundancy built in, and do we really want to turn around and cut? But I guess it sort of depends on how things progress.
All right, I actually think we're all on the same page. We're all kind of saying the same thing, saying we've got to wait to see how it plays through. Okay. All right, and for anybody watching, I want to stress that this is not anti-school. This is, we don't have the information, we're already getting the emails, save our schools. We're not there yet. There's so much more we all need to learn before we actually know what the facts are. And trust me, the schools are near and dear. I've got 4 peanuts in the school right now, near and dear to my heart, but we have to think about everybody. So I just want to be clear, no decisions have been made.
Maybe actually mention that we are not in the midst of an override, so.
Right, Foxborough
We
is
are
not.
not, they're asking us to support an override.
Right.
In Boxborough, and we are not calling for an override. So it is actually Acton. So that those emails should be directed to Acton and ask them to pick a number so we can all move forward for the 2 towns.
Great. Any other? All right.
Okay, so we can come back at the end if you're ready to make a vote at that time. If not, it doesn't have to happen tonight. So we're going to talk about, this is a continued stabilization year. Last year, we talked about stabilization on a number of fronts, and we continue to emphasize that. Continued stabilization in our financial reserves, in our OPEB trust, in our capital investments, and our operating budget.
Can you remind everybody who might not remember what OPEB is?
Yes, it's other post-employment benefits. It's
Thank you.
basically health care for retirees from the town.
I always forget that
And
one.
that's something that, that we have to put money into. That has to be it's a liability, and we don't want to get behind on that. Last year, the recommendation from the auditor was that we fund that at $300,000. That's going to be my recommendation, that we continue to do that. I think that's an investment that we need to continue to make. We don't want to get behind on that. And like many communities, the town of Boxborough got behind on that, but for good reason, during COVID, when there were other things that had to be taken care of just to get through. And so the community I came from, as well as many other communities across the Commonwealth, and I'm sure around the nation, they had to cut back somewhere. And so last year was a good effort at moving.
Stabilizing it.
Yeah, getting back up to the 300,000. So you'll see later in this that I recommend we do.
Great.
Next slide. So the goals include, following the policy guidance, whatever the select board votes and decides at whatever time you're comfortable doing that, to deliver high-quality public services to the maximum extent possible, to protect the town's financial position, and to continue managing risk, both from litigation as well as financial risk.
What's our bond rating right now?
AAA. Continues to be a AAA rating.
And that is as good as you can get?
That's the highest rating you can get. And that's something that we did put in the advertisement, as Rajan mentioned, for our finance director, that we do have an enviable AAA bond rating. And that's something that I looked at as favorably in looking at the town of Boxborough, and I know that the finance director will as well. That means we've been doing things correctly and conservatively along the way. It doesn't just happen by accident. Be very deliberate about getting to a AAA bond rating.
Thank you, FinCom.
And what that means, the big benefit, one, it makes a statement, but the other thing is, when you go out to borrow debt, you can borrow at a lower percentage rate, so it becomes very affordable. So when we go out for a building, a large capital vehicle, something like that, we're going to be able to get it at a much better price than a community with, a AA or something like that, a lower bond rating. So it's very important in that regard.
Great. I'm going to keep asking you questions like that, even if I know the answer, just to make sure
Absolutely.
people watching. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You keep me honest, because I don't want to be, glossing over acronyms or things that people may not understand.
I just wanted to get it out there. I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So we want to, as a goal, continue to set sustainable and predictable fiscal trajectory. So when we talk about debt, when we talk about healthcare costs, we want to level that. We don't want when you're budgeting, when you're doing financial projections, you want to kind of even out the peaks and valleys. You better year to year, if you can project, what's going to happen over the next few years, instead of like what's happening, not necessarily to anyone's fault, but this is a huge spike that the town of Acton is hitting with their health trust. And sometimes you can't manage those things, and sometimes you can. As much as possible, we want to be able to manage the future through risk management and through conservative budgeting and looking at what are the risks out there that we can avoid and level that out so we can, year after year, we want to be boring, predictable, sustainable.
We can talk more about that when we actually get to those line items, what we're doing about healthcare and all that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we want to continue to maintain Foxborough as a desirable place to live and do business.
Okay. Any questions or comments or conversation before we go to the next slide? Okay.
Okay, the budget that I'm about to present to you is based on a number of assumptions, some of which may change, some will remain constant. And I'll point out which ones are which as we move along. And I'll let you know, I only have 10 budget slides here. This is meant to be just a very high-level view at where we are right now with what we know, and also pointing out to you what we don't know, and the assumptions that I've made to at least get us past those things that we don't know or have no idea of. So the first thing is taxing at 2.5%. Proposition 2.5 many years ago set state law so that you could only increase municipal taxes at 2.5% above what your previous year's taxes were, with a couple of caveats. Right, so there are two caveats to that. So when you hear about 2.5 or Prop 2.5 or taxing 2.5, that's what that is. And to keep up with inflation and to try to attain level services, you do need to increase your tax levy as time goes on. And that's what that state law was aimed to do. And we talked earlier about the other post-employment benefits, and I mentioned that I'm going to be recommending to fund, if we can, another $300,000 again this year. That was a smart move that last year. I think it is again this year to follow that recommendation. And then within our financial policies, one of the stipulations is that we will fund our reserves at 0.6% of the overall budget, which for this year I think is about 160,000. For last year, or for the current year, it's at 155,000. So it's rounded up to an even number. So you'll see that when we, not today, but when we get to the more granular level of the budget, when we get to Budget Saturday, the first Saturday in January, you'll see that amount in the budget, 160,000, or whatever our final budget number ends up being. It'll be 0.6% of the entire budget, the operating budget.
Any comments, FinCom? All sounds good? Okay, like I said, this is our meeting, so
Yeah.
jump in as you
No,
want.
that was the policy that you all agreed to and we agreed to at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And this is probably a good time to point out that there are a couple of new things this year presenting the budget that weren't present last year. One is the financial policies. We didn't have, an omnibus or a fully consolidated set of financial policies. And that's something that the Finance Committee, the Select Board, and the Finance team got together, got through, and I think came up with a really solid set of financial policies for the town to live by. And it's on the town's website, and you can look at it, and you'll see that the chair of the Select Board, the chair of the Finance Committee, as well as myself, and the 3 department heads who are the members of the finance team have all signed that, which doesn't happen in every town, but I think it was a significant thing to do. That means we're all bought into holding up these financial policies, as these are the pillars that we live by. The next thing, and this is really the biggest assumption of the night, is that the Boxborough's share of the school budget is going up 6.9% over what it was last year. Last year, I think we went up 5.3%. Earlier in the year, up through October-ish, we were basing our budget projections on a 5.5% increase in the school budget. At this point, we know, as Maria alluded to, that it's going to be 6.9% at least. Again, that's an assumption. It may be more than that. I was waiting to hear this morning what the school or what the Acton Leadership Group was deciding. They weren't able to decide, so we don't have a number. So I had built 3 budgets over the weekend. One was based, the original budget, which I still had, was based on a 5.5% budget increase. And that's the largest single department or assessment part of the budget we have. So when that goes up by 1% or 2%, it's significant. So we based it on 5.5. At this point, as of Friday, I had built a second budget at 6.9%, and then had built out a number of increments of budget, which I worked, I shared with Rajan and with Gary on Friday as we were sitting in my office going through the capital projections for what was on slate, at least initially, for FY25. And so right now, what I'm going to present you is based on 6.9%. I was ready to plug in, whether it was 8% or 10% or whatever that other percent was going to be, but the best I can show you right now is a 6.9%. So getting back to, you may not be ready to vote a budget priority by the end of this presentation, or you may be ready to vote some level of service or funding based on these assumptions, knowing that what I'm presenting you is based on 6.9%, and you may have to go back and revisit and re-vote at a later time, depending on how this situation unfolds.
Tony, give me 1 second to ask, give me 1 second. All right, first off, our 3-year rolling averages, what were they in 2024 and now 2025? Because my understanding is we have more kids. So that's one of the reasons. Anybody know what the numbers are?
We don't. We've
Okay,
asked
that's fine.
the region to provide those numbers, the added children, and what, all things being equal, what would our assessment have been if we weren't in the middle of all of this chaos, just as a regular rollover with the added number of kids.
So the 6.9% doesn't reflect additional children yet?
It does.
It does, okay,
It
that's what I
does.
wanted to be clear on, okay.
But more importantly, that 6.9 is backed into because Acton can only go up 3%. So number of kids is almost irrelevant in that number because Acton can only do a 2.5% right currently.
Right.
They can only do a 3% increase in their assessment. So if Acton has a 3% increase in the assessment, what does that mean for Boxborough? So yes, the kids are built in there, but it's not necessarily the full amount.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it totally does. It means we really can't make too many decisions until we have those numbers.
Right. So
That's
we've
what
asked
this
them
says to
that.
me. Then
We've
we're
asked them
probably
to
not
that,
voting
and I'm
tonight.
hoping to have that before Budget Saturday.
Okay. Becky, no, Tony actually raised his hand.
Oh, but I have the mic.
You have the mic, okay. Possession is not taken away. Yeah, and ladies first. Sorry, Tony. You can beat her up for it.
When I was watching ALG this morning, Mike, the one thing they did is the Acton FinCom made a chart for every $1 million more of an override. They have the average increase in a single-family tax bill next year will be $451 or something. And then for every additional $1 million, there'll be another $132 on top of that. So I'm wondering if we can do something, like ours would have to be based on percentages, I imagine. But if we could figure out, like, okay, if we go up to 8%, it'll be this much more on the tax bill, or 9%, because really, I think they're not coming back till after our budget Saturday to decide anything. Well, hopefully decide, yeah, because then their next meeting is January 27th after January 8th. So they're not in a big hurry. But anyways, they did that and they gave a really nice chart, and I didn't know if we could maybe figure out just what every percentage of an increase would mean. So that was my.
So Becky, you say the first one would be a 6.9%. What would that?
What's that? And then like maybe what's 7.9% and 8. If you can just figure out what each percentage is, that helps.
I'm going to throw out one thing too. When you work with Kelly S. on this, I actually think she should do, if your house is worth, valued, it's not even worth, because our assessed values are all over the place. I think she needs to do it by bracket, because otherwise it doesn't mean anything, because there is no average right now. So we have really high end, we have, we usually, so Bob's doing the question face. Usually we say for the we used to say, for the $600,000 house, your taxes are going up X dollars. And then you'd watch the people in the audience and everyone, you can see they're trying to figure out, well, what's my value? What's mine going to go up? So if we could kind of create a chart.
But Kristen, as a reminder, we do two numbers. We do against the median house price.
Right.
We also do by per thousand.
True.
Right? So that way,
So-
if you know what your house is
Yep.
worth, divide it by 1,000, and then you can figure out.
Maybe I'll have Kelly do the formula at the bottom for the math challenge. I'm very aware of the math challenge people, being one of them. Tony?
Yeah, so my question is still on the same topic about this 6.9%. So I think what you're saying there is that our share of the budget will be increased by 6.9% based on school population. Is that correct?
No, this is a 6.9% increase from what our assessment was last year. So last year, our assessment from the previous year went up 5.3%. This is 6.9% increase on top of that school assessment. So what is in here, instead of the, I think it was 13,900,000, something like that. This year, it's like 14,500,000 or whatever the number is. So it's that percentage higher than what our assessment for the school was last year.
But that has nothing to do with school reform.
It's
Okay.
included, though. It's included in there,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really shares, is it then? It's really it's a number. Our assessment is going to increase by 6.9%.
Oh, so you're, okay,
It's not a share.
right.
So just say Foxborough's assessment
That's a great idea. Thank you, Kirby.
rather than share. Just say Foxborough's assessment.
I'm just reading it literally, which is, that to me just says our share is increasing by 6.9%. But,
Right, John, can you edit
it's
as we
100%
go?
total paid by.
Yeah, I could replace it with Foxborough's assessment. is
Just
up
change the word
6.9%.
share to
Yeah.
assessment.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was in PowerPoint. You could literally do it right now. Well, then we don't forget. I don't know. If it's going to be a hassle, don't do it now. It's okay.
I'll remember it.
You'll remember? Okay. See, I just assume everyone has my brain, so you'll remember.
So we've heard, we've talked about, what's going to be the override if Acton, does an override, or when they do an override, per million, percent. But I decided to slice it this way. Our assessment is going up, but you're right, the wording will be clearer. Our assessment is, putting this is up 6.9% from what it was last year.
That's actually why I asked about enrollment, because I was thinking about share too. I'm like, okay, there's different definitions.
What we do know on
Yeah.
enrollment is that Foxborough's share of students, percentage-wise, is going up year to year. So while I think I heard the superintendent say that 155 students from Acton went to other schools last year, at the same time, 20 more of our students went into the Acton Foxborough schools. And that's happening year to year. So right now, 18% of the entire regional school district is Foxborough students. And it's predicted in another year or so to be, or 2 years, to be up to 20%. So we're taking a larger and larger share as the years go, move on.
Becky and Maria, did the leadership have any idea in terms of like the override amount? What are they like? I mean, is there like
Well, what I heard,
base and ceiling?
what I heard from FinCom this morning was initially they talked about doing a multi-year override, like doing a big number,
Yeah.
using some of it for next year and then save some of it for FY '26 and then keep the levy, just save $2 million so the levy's higher. So they were talking $4 million for next year, with 900,000 going to the town, 3.1 million going to the schools. But the school department was not happy with that number, or the school committee was not happy with that number at all. And then they went back and forth, and maybe we shouldn't do a multi-year thing. We should just put it all out there, because if we're going to do a $8 million increase, $1 million override, why not just front load it all? Then they talked about doing like just one for schools next year, and then doing the town the year after, and then a capital one the year after that. But I think what they settled on was to do one override next year, and it will be split, because quite frankly, with 75%, I think Acton's got about the same population of households with kids, right? 25%. With 75% of your population not having kids in the school, you want to give them something to vote for an override for. So if you just make it schools, I think somebody was saying, one of the select board members who's been around for a while, was saying the last time an override failed in Acton it was only schools. So I think they're looking at doing a joint override. The number is to be determined. FinCom was still on like no more than 4 million, because that gets your tax increase up to like $890 next year. And they think they've got to keep it under 1,000 for the tax increase. But then I think it's going to be discussion, because I think both Select Board and FinCom think, school committee think it needs to be higher.
Is Acton a split rate? Does anyone know? So Acton's a single rate, just like we are?
I believe so.
Okay.
So, so I can understand this better, our share of the school budget, it's gonna go up 6.9%.
Our assessment.
Our assessment
Our
is up
assessment.
at least that much
Our
from last year.
assessment. So even if it was level, if we had the same students, then what we're putting into that would go up 6.9%. And the education is that 50% of the budget?
Closer to 60, right? What percent?
I'm sorry, of our budget?
What
Of ours,
percent of our
about-
budget is
It's
schools?
51.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like,
Oh, I thought it was closer to
it's,
60.
no, it's come down from 60.
Okay, so let's call it round numbers, it's 50% of the budget, so that means it's going up at least, 3.5% to, in order to fund that, we have to raise our taxes 3.5%, is that right?
Oh, you need the mic, because Kirby will yell at you. We love you, Kirby.
No, so what he was saying was, where did he get the 3.5? He took the 7%, and he's taking 50% of that to get the 3.5%, is what he's saying.
I don't think that's right. That's not right.
Tell me why that's not right.
Okay, so the school is 50% of the budget.
Yeah.
So 50% of the budget is going up 7%.
Yep,
The other 50%, we don't know yet, because we haven't seen the presentation yet.
oh,
So
right,
half
okay,
of the
yeah.
budget is going up 7%.
Right,
But there's,
Okay.
there's another, there's
So
another
it's-
factor is that we have other costs that are going up. We have contracts.
I get that,
inflation
I'm just
stuff.
talking about the school.
Yeah,
So even with just the school, it's going up 3.5%. So this, right?
I don't think so. Help me understand that,
What he's saying is that if it's 50% of the budget,
right?
nothing else, all else being equal, if you take 50% of that increase, I'm not sure it works that way. I honestly, I've got to look.
But it's 7% just for the
If it's
school, so
level
it's
funded-
7% for the school
Yeah.
Right,
budget.
He's just
Right.
trying to show how much of an impact the school has on.
on the budget. So,
Weighted average, it's half of that 6%, or 6.9.
Okay, all right,
Right.
okay.
Okay, so we're at
Still not
3.5%.
But
sure.
that
Before, and
That
with a-
holds true if you take away steps and cost of living and any other costs on the town side. So it wouldn't be just holding town level. It would be reducing cost on the town side to be able to split that in half. See what I'm saying?
Right. So
Because
it's
you're
not
right-
that clean.
You're right,
If
if the
it's level
school is
funded.
half of the cost.
Right. No, so the argument, so when you talk about should we do level funding or level services, right? So I'm trying to balance, there's the school half and then there's everything else, right? So,
Level funded, that wouldn't be level, if you split that in half, that wouldn't be level funded on the town side. That would be decreased funding on the town side. Split that in half, assuming that it's 50/50.
on the town side, because more money would have to go to the school than would be available for the town.
Correct.
So, okay, and so that's what I'm getting, but it's like, okay, so then,
Pretty and I don't get it. We're both looking at each other, shaking our heads. The math still doesn't
I
make
think-
sense to me.
you guys are like getting too far into the weeds
Yeah, okay.
without seeing, it's not as cut and dry. I know it seems like it's cut and dry, but it's not.
More variables.
Right. And level funded means that we spent last year's money. So you'd have to decrease,
Services.
the services by the 3.5%. You guys are getting too far into the weeds without
right.
all the detail.
Okay.
So it's not always that cut and dry.
no, okay, I'm not trying to get into the weeds, I'm just trying to do the round numbers and figure out ultimately, what's it gonna cost the taxpayers in the town? So to me, I look at this and I say, okay, if it's if all of this stuff is if it's level funded in all the town activities, except for the
Are
school,
you saying
then we're
level
going up
funded
3.5.
or level services?
level funded, then it's going up 3.5% to take care of the school, at a minimum. Right? Do I have that wrong?
No.
Somebody has to help me out with
There's
this.
a little more to it than that, because just to do level, yeah, it's a little more complicated than that.
Right, I know where you're going, and it is more complicated, because it's almost apples and oranges. I know why you're trying to simplify it, but you can't do it that way.
Well, and I appreciate that.
How about we get more numbers then?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll
That's
make
what I was
more
gonna
sense when you
say.
have.
Yeah, we need to get all
I
the
might be able to
numbers
get it.
and then be able
Yeah,
to
I'm
look
sorry, I
at
don't mean to be
what
so
level
obtuse.
funded looks like and what level service looks like.
Okay.
All right.
And you're presenting level service tonight.
Correct.
So I just think that there's too many variables to try to make it that cut and dry of a formula. So, okay.
So another assumption in here, and it's a pretty good assumption, is that we're changing our healthcare network. We have, along with administration, the town's IAC, which is the Insurance Advisory Council, which is represented by one person from each employee group. So there's a retiree representative, a non-union representative, and then one representative from each of the 4 unions. And they have met with Rajan and Naomi, our treasurer, and they will be meeting in January with 3 different health networks to hear their products, their pricing, and so we're working through that. I've made some assumptions. The assumption that I've made in that is that our healthcare costs will go up by 8% over last year, which is about almost half of what it went up last year. Last year it went
It was
up
14%, wasn't it?
Yeah, 13 point something, which was significant. I thought that was
And we
you know,
didn't
like
know
Mount
till
Everest
the very
until I heard
last
about the
minute.
schools increase, which is 22%. So one of the assumptions that I want to just point out is that I've assumed that our healthcare costs are going to go up by 8% this year over last year. And I hope we can come in under that. I believe we can, based on what we know so far. Another assumption is that there's going to be some cost differentiation here during a transition year with regards to dispatch, legal, and technology. So legal costs are not as low as I would like at this point, but not higher than our budget. Technology is actually a little bit higher for this coming year than last year, but that's because we're in a transition year. We're still using some of the old technology support, as well as some new support that we've brought in, and after next year, we'll see the technology prices start going down as we weed off some of the old stuff and made a full transition with our IT transition. And then with dispatch, the assumption here is that we have put $209,000 into the dispatch budget for FY25, but we're not going to spend that because the state is paying for it. One of the recommendations that I'm going to make is that we set up a fund, and I would suggest something like a capital stabilization fund or something like that, so that we don't spend the money, but we budget for it, so that in 3 years, when we do start paying for it, we don't all of a sudden have a $200,000 or $210,000 spike in our budget. Again, we want level predictability. But if we can put that in a place where we know we're going to need it anyways, but not have to go back into free cash for it, that's one way to avoid those spikes in the future.
FinCom's,
Yeah, Mike, can I just ask you about the, back to the healthcare network?
Sure.
That, what percent of our budget is that expense? Do you have any idea off the top of your head? Because that just seems like it would be, it's going to be an extremely sensitive variable for planning.
Yeah, so our healthcare costs,
is it on the spreadsheet right there, as a percentage?
it is, I could look
I
through
was the
this.
same.
Yeah, I mean, is it 10%, 5%?
10%.
No, take your
Let me
time,
just pull it up.
take your time.
I just want to make sure that the expense assumptions for the budget on that are very conservative, given the basically everyone's experience with insurance this year.
Sure. I don't find it here.
We're gonna know this all by the back of our hand in a couple of months.
Till we get the bill.
So $1.3 million.
4%? Okay, all right, that's not trivial.
No.
Okay. So 8% you consider conservative or
I
aggressive?
do, based on the numbers that we're getting so far.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
No, I saw the wheels turning, you know, when Mike was talking about basically putting money aside so that dispatch doesn't whack us in the back of the head when it's time to actually fully fund it. And that is a concern of ours too. It would be great to use that to offset taxes this year, but we're also like, oh, what happens when we do need to come up with the money? Thoughts?
Yeah,
Have
we
you guys
haven't
even talked about it yet?
So I just, that was the first time I'd heard it. So my expression was, that's the first time I heard that. So I think it's
I
just.
saw the wheels turn.
Yeah, I just think it's more conversation.
Okay.
It's understanding it better. And that's something we can do on Budget Saturday. We don't
Okay.
need to get too far in the weeds on that tonight.
Totally
but-
fine, totally
But
fine.
like, that's the first time that you had even mentioned that, so. We had talked about keeping a dispatch budget line. You and I had talked about that, but not how it's funded, so let's talk about that on Budget Saturday, I think.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, now getting into some of the challenges. Clearly, we've already talked about the deficit in the school budget, which is, I believe it's $9.5 million. The next challenge is that the town of Acton is looking at doing a Proposition 2.5 override. They don't know that number yet. There is a cost in next year of us getting out of the current healthcare group that we're part of. And the number right now, as best we know it, is $128,000. What that is, that's to pay off claims that we have going on now, and it's estimated to be 120. So this is a cost that we have every year, but because we're getting out of the network, and by the way, there are 12 communities, and we are one of the 11 that's already given our intention to pull out of the network. So Rajan went to the meeting this past week with our treasurer, and they did vote to dissolve the network. You can't have a network with one community. So we actually have one of the lower buyouts because we're getting and one of the reasons we're getting very attractive rates going into these other three health networks is because our claims history is good. We haven't had a lot of big claims. We've been managing our claims. So 128,000, while it sounds like a big number, was actually on the smaller end of the 11 communities that have already given intention to pull out. One of the communities is 10 times that number, so $1.3 million to get out of the network. It's a bigger community, but still.
How hard is that number? I see the word estimate. Could that go up by another $200,000, or could it go up as a small amount? I understand it's based upon the claims that are out there now. That's what the buyout is you're talking about, Michael, right?
I would estimate, I thought you were looking at him, I'm sorry. I would estimate that it could go up or down, but it's not going to double. It's not going to be a huge magnification of that number.
So that would be subject, I'm gonna put it into total kindergarten terms here. I get cancer. I have town health insurance. I put a claim in. That would drive that number up if my claim goes in before we've officially left, or this is based on people that are already sick.
No, it could be based on people that are still getting covered for the next 6 months.
Okay, so in
But
other
it
words,
would
we don't
only-
know. It's gonna be the luck of the draw. Let's say a prayer that everyone's healthy for their own sake.
But we know it ends, on the
Okay.
end of June. That's the end of that. So with these claims, we're not looking at a claim starting now, and then we're responsible as part of that payout for the next 10 years or 2 years. It's from now till the end of June. So it's a finite number.
Okay.
I would say it could go up in the tens of thousands from maybe from 100,000 to 140 or 50,000, but that's the range.
And also the claims, these are just the claims itself. And the claims are the claims, that's the cost for them. The only thing that they stated that might be included is just the administrative fees to do the dissolution of the healthcare consortium. So that's the only thing that they haven't estimated in there, but that shouldn't be, that shouldn't double the amount for the buyout.
My fear was before Michael explained, I thought that was the penalty for leaving. I'm gonna go, what, they're gonna charge us to get out? But no, but it's not. It's just, it's the
our own
existing claim.
claims.
So there's no penalty because 11 towns have left. So this is what essentially everybody owes to pay out
clean it
for
up.
their share of claims. So there's no penalty because there's going to be no group starting July 1.
As I had mentioned last week at the joint meeting of the FinCom and Select Board, had I arrived here a month earlier last year, I would have gotten in that letter and gotten us out of the network that we're part of, because I already saw that as being volatile, because it's a small pool, even though it's, at the time it was 14 or 15 communities, that's still a small pool compared to some of the networks. I mean, Maya has got over half the communities in the state. And the other two pools that we're looking at are also very large networks, so which creates stability within your healthcare network. Another challenge is that our new growth or our new construction is currently down a little bit from the year before, so I'm estimating that it'll be down again next year. So we'll see how that plays
How's
out.
Campanelli progressing through the planning board? Like, they haven't pulled any permits for anything yet, right?
No,
They can't.
no.
No, but Kristen, they got like a $38 million secured loan from Cambridge Bank. I saw something came across my
Right.
from news. So they're planning on doing something if they got $38 million earmarked, so.
Okay. That's heartening. Okay.
And then I mentioned this earlier, that the Boxborough student enrollment outpaces Acton, and it has for a number of years, and we expect it will continue to for a number of years. Next slide, please. Please stop me if anyone has questions, if I'm going too fast. So the possibilities, as I mentioned, initially, we were looking at projecting a 5.5% increase in the school assessment. This is based on a 6.9% increase. I've also run numbers with, increments going up 1% each up to 10% increase. But we really don't know what it's going to be. So anything beyond doing a 6.9% tonight is guesswork. So I actually pulled out the last couple of slides that I had in this because I don't want to give you guesswork. I really want to give you the facts based on what we know or the best assumptions I can give you without just pure guessing. Next slide. So here's the status as we currently know it. Our estimated revenues next year, and this is including personal property tax, real estate tax, automotive
Excise.
taxes, excise, restaurant meal, hotel tax, state aid, and all the different sorts of revenue that we get coming into the community is about $28.4 million. The operating expenses that I have costed out based on 6.9% increase in the school assessment is just north of $27 million, which leaves about $1.4 million excess revenues. But then add on to that, and I'll get to I just want to show you the numbers, and then in the next and last slide, I'll show you what, how it tallies out. So next, on top of that is capital, which in reviewing the capital plan, at least preliminarily, we've got about $2.4 million in capital that's been planned out on our 20-year capital plan for FY25. Almost $1 million, or just over 900,000 of that will be bonded. The rest is in the next line, almost $1.5 million in non-bonded, which means that we'll pay for that in either free cash or raise and appropriate. So about 876,000 from free cash, which keeps us at our 5% of the budget in free cash, which is, we want to maintain, right now we have about $2.3 million in free cash. We don't want to go below about 1.35 million, and that'll keep us at our 5%. That's also in our financial policies. So that's why the number 876, because that won't drop us below the 1.35 million. And then The remainder of that 1.464 million in non-bonded will be through raise and appropriate through taxes, which is about 588,000. Additional things that you'll see for town meeting are articles that call for money. And so these are, I've got 755,000 in annual town meeting articles that have come in so far, and those are non-bonded and non-CPC. I don't have budget numbers yet on the CPC articles, and you saw the bonded stuff up above. It's 926,000. So add in the annual town meeting articles. That's just a little above 750,000, and then what is not included above is any land design study concept. So when we talk about a future fire station, design services, land acquisition, anything like that, that is not included in any of the numbers above that. I don't have those numbers. It's too soon to even predict. And any questions on this before I move to a tabulation of what these numbers will look like in summary?
On the estimated revenues, that's within 2.5.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it's all the revenues and a 2.5%.
Correct.
Okay, and so that doesn't eat into our levy.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael, what are some of the articles that are at the 755,000?
Sure. So we have, and I'll read down some of them. I have a sampling here. In fact, tonight is the night when we're going to close, if you choose to close the warrant for the annual town meeting warrant. Right now, we have 46 articles, so it's probably a good time to close it. I think last year we had 47, and I think we were very fortunate.
Placeholders, though, there's some placeholders.
They're coming in with language, so I think they're serious placeholders. So,
We're gonna be there like for weeks.
yeah, last year we got through it in 2 nights and we had 47 articles, I think.
It was easy last year because
Yeah.
we had a lot of free cash.
Free cash,
So there wasn't a whole lot of debate about bonding and raising and appropriating,
Right.
right? So free cash ones were easy. People
Right.
don't mind spending money we already have.
The other thing I think that made it go really well last year is my right-hand person who's sitting to my left here organized it very well into consent agendas, and I think that really made things go smoothly, and it made it easy for the voters to make logical decisions. So thank you for that.
Way to go, Ray John, way to go.
So I'll read down what we have for placeholders. Late bills is one we typically see.
We have late bills?
What's that?
We have late bills?
We don't have any, but we have it as a placeholder in case there are any. Amending the personnel plan, there are some, as in most years, there are some changes that we expect to see in the personnel plan. We have a placeholder for amending the Council on Aging bylaw. We have a police cruiser, as well as MDTs, which are the mobile data terminals. They're the terminals that are in the cruisers that the police officers do their work on. We have an article to replace the animal control officer's vehicle. This is one that won't cost a lot of money because we have a 3-town intermunicipal agreement, and each year, each of the 3 towns pays money into it. So right now, and that's for maintenance as well as replacement. So every year, some of that money gets spent on maintenance. But even with that, we have $45,000 put in a special fund, and that car or truck is estimated to cost $66,000 to replace. So we'll have to put $21,000 into that. But then again, it comes out of the 3 towns, but we're responsible for purchasing it. Let's see. There are 2 articles, one for police and one for fire, to each put in money to cover when their candidates are away at the academy, to cover their training as well as their overtime. There's a placeholder for a purchase of land for a fire station or public safety building. Another placeholder for professional services, that would be design work as well as conceptual drawings for a public safety or fire station. There's a placeholder for budget software, another placeholder for payroll and accrual software. There's a placeholder for Human Services Director upgraded position from a position that we currently have. There's one for a full-time associate planner. You heard earlier discussion about the half-time position that's currently advertised. There's a placeholder for a recreation coordinator position, and a couple of these are positions that the Personnel Board is looking at as far as the personnel plan, the language I mentioned earlier. There are a number of articles here for the library, capital articles. One's for roof, another one is for a well booster pump, another one is for HVAC system.
Didn't we just do the roof?
Roof came in too low.
The prices came in above so we need to add a little bit to be able to do the
So
job.
it came in over $170,000?
Correct,
Because that's what we funded last year?
correct.
Good
I'm
Lord.
just gonna, someone sells a lot of new construction, give it 6 months and put it out to bid again. If it's not leaking, hold off. Because all those contractors right now don't have any work. Give them time. That's gonna be my advice.
Let's see.
COVID's over. I'm tired of the COVID inflation. It's over. Stop it.
You heard me say, I think the library HVAC needs replacement. And then there's an article for interior design work at the library. I think that's, I'm sorry, not for design work. It's for altering the interior design of the library. There are 2 placeholders for traffic study. There's phase 1, and I guess the other one's phase 2. There's a zoning bylaw amendment. 2 related to, one for professional services for 7072 Stowe Road for affordable housing. There are like 6 CPC articles for assorted things. Zoning bylaw for, to go back and revisit the detached auxiliary ADU or accessory dwelling units. That just needs to be looked at again per the Attorney General's office. And a placeholder for emergency management. And then I've got a whole list of 14, which are our regular recurring annual town meeting. That's what we have so far.
So it's not, a good chunk of it is new staff, new people.
Mike, does the operating expenses also include salary for the additional, like, finance position that we approved in the fall town meeting?
It would include, yes, it would include for next year.
Yes, so that 27 million.
Correct.
It includes that.
It does.
Okay. What about, like, from the green communities? I thought we will be getting some funding, initial funding, no? Does that include in the revenues?
I haven't included anything for, because I don't know what that would be, because we'd have to go out for that grant funding.
Okay.
So I didn't include anything that I don't.
I thought that was an automatic once we got approved, right? Like the first year? I thought
But I don't think it's general revenues to be, I think it needs to be
it's
spent
not
on specific
the
stuff.
Specifics, yeah.
So
But
it's earmarked, I think.
Well, I mean, if it's a hybrid vehicle, why not?
yeah,
use it
so
for the
that's
police
what, like, so some of these, like, we still might have some chunks of stuff coming in.
Right, right. And to be fair, I have estimated, on both sides, I've estimated conservatively. So, little low on the revenues, a little high on the expenses, because we don't want to be caught later with cheating too close to the line. Okay, so next, any other, Gary?
Is there a placeholder for closing out old warrant articles?
There is.
Is that one of those 14 you mentioned?
It is. It's actually the third to last one.
Okay.
Close completed articles if needed.
Oh, if we didn't spend money on any of them, what happens? Does that go into
Free cash.
free cash?
We have to vote it.
Or you can use it to offset an article this year, if there's something similar. Like, for instance, something like what we did with water resources.
Yeah.
So if there's something similar, you can use it to offset it. I do have a question on all of this capital stuff, the stuff for the library, aside from the roof. All of that capital stuff, that is on the capital plan? Or when you guys present capital to us, you will let us know what was on the plan and what wasn't?
So, yes, most of it is on the capital plan. It's all on the capital plan now.
Yeah.
Some of it had previously existed on the capital plan. Some has been taken off. Some have been pushed 1 to 2 years out. And there have been a few things that have been introduced or replaced. But in general, it's the capital plan as you know it from last year.
So the interior work on the library, was that on the capital plan last year?
No.
No, okay, so that's a new ad.
Right.
Okay, so will we be able to get some of that information on Capital Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
Okay.
have all that.
Cool, thank you.
So Mike, based on, when I'm looking at the second, yeah, estimated revenues, 28.4 million. And then based on a 6.9 increase for the schools, at level services, that's the number you came up with? The 27?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's not.
That makes me nervous that it's so good.
I mean,
Well,
it
you
could
get-
probably go up.
Oh, it will.
I think it'll be helpful if we go to the next slide, then you'll kind of see a tally of where we end up,
Okay.
because this is just throwing numbers at you. So, on the right side are things, you know, your free cash and your bonded things, so those aren't gonna come out of raise and appropriate. The middle column there, so at the top is your revenue, same numbers from the last slide, but the next line down is your expenses, you know, and then capital is coming out of taxes, and then the bottom one is annual town meeting articles that I've at least now designated as raise and appropriate. So we're just about balanced at a 6.9% increase, you know, with 29,000 to spare. So that's pretty
That looks
close.
good.
So what that, you know, what that tells me is anything that comes up in above the 6.9%, that means that we can't go into any more free cash, because then you'd be going below your 5%, which we've agreed to as part of our financial policy to not spend below that. And so it's got to come out. There's nothing else in revenue unless I've, you know, estimated our revenue is really low. So anything else would come out of the excess levy. We know that we have $2.3 million in free cash, of which we'd be spending here. We'd be spending, the 875, and then we also have the same number, or $2.3 million in excess levy capacity. So anything in addition to what we have here already, if I'm not way off, would come out of the excess, out of that $2.3 million excess levy capacity. That's in general. So this is my
Right,
last.
and this doesn't include your 3 warrant articles to change an associate planner to full-time.
It does.
That number, the 27 million does?
The operating
does.
expense.
Okay, all right. And there was 2 more
Oh,
things.
so you're
The
wondering if we're
rec
double
person,
counting?
the rec person, does that include that?
It does.
And the social services.
Yes.
So it includes that as well.
Is that under the ATM articles? 'Cause it won't be in
That's
the-
what I was just asking, are we
it won't be
double
in the
counting it?
operating budget, right?
Well, that's what I want to make sure. Is it included in the articles or it included in the operating budget? I just want to double
It's
count it.
under ATM articles.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
But it is
first
included
year
in
we
there.
funded
Right.
the
So what I did is I went through everything that's in as an operating expense.
Yep.
And then at the end, that's this 10-page spreadsheet that I have. And then what I did is after that, put in the other half, or making the part-time
Yep.
associate planner full-time with
Okay.
benefits, and then recreation coordinator with benefits, and then the moving one position up 1 grade for a human services director, and that would be included in the ATM.
Right, so that's all
articles.
included in there.
All included.
So.
I'll tell you some of the other things that are, finish your question.
No,
and
no,
I'll
so
tell you
that,
some
no,
of the
so
other
that,
things.
so really, the wild card here is the 6.9 from the region,
Yes,
right? Because if
Really
we're
is.
at 6.9, we're in pretty good shape.
yes.
If we don't make any changes and cuts, and we generally, things shift, you know that. Last year, you were surprised at how much shifted.
Right.
Kind of as we were talking through with the department heads. So that's pretty good. The question then becomes, where do we land with the region? And what is the decision? Do we just say, oh, okay, we'll take a 10% increase? That needs to be a discussion that the FinCom has and the select board, sits in on. But it's a decision that I don't think we've necessarily made
Right.
because we haven't discussed it.
No, you don't have all the info yet either, yeah.
I have one question.
Oh, we have a question. Who are you calling? I can't see anybody, so I can't call on people.
Yeah, so George
George
was
Ellenboss.
home.
Hey, George, what's up?
Can we hear?
You are unmuted.
Hello?
Hello, we're here. Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yep.
The anticipated increase in the Boxborough's share of the school population, where is that? Is that in this, that's not in the 6.9%, right?
Yes.
That's sort of not accounted for, is that true?
It is. That includes the, an increase in the school population, but that 6.9% includes both that as well as, the increase from last year's assessment.
So, okay, so part of it is, of course, the fact that the school budget's going to increase overall, and part of it is our share is going to increase a bit.
Yes.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Mike, can I just ask you, can you take us through, just quickly, how you come up with a 28 million? Excuse my ignorance on this, but because that's
Yeah,
a
that's a fair
pretty
question.
important driver here as well, if we get that wrong.
Sure.
Does that include CPC?
That does not. Oh, well, that's wrong. Right, it's not included on either side. Okay, so, I have a spreadsheet that looks something like this, but I'm gonna read you some general.
Could you take us through it line by
Rather
line?
than going
Yeah.
down, there's probably 100 lines here.
Yep.
I'm just gonna give you some general categories. So
Just, yeah, the
the
big
top ones
ones.
are the most important. Personal property taxes, real estate taxes, new growth, supplemental taxes, motor vehicle taxes, meals and rooms taxes, penalties, interest.
So you took a run rate from like the last few years and extrapolated it forward? Is that basically what's going on here?
Yeah, so some things we know. We know what the taxes are gonna be. I've estimated the new growth, and I've estimated that low. The taxes, we have a pretty good run rate on what, that would be. Motor vehicle excise, police detail fees that we collect. Let's see, dog fines, police court fines.
Okay, all right. No, we're good, we're good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's a pretty extensive, and it's still, there's still some assumptions in there, but I think they're pretty good. I think the assumptions turned out pretty good last year. They used the same sort of format. I will tell you some of the other things relative to your question, Maria, that were included after going through the operating expenses in my, what I included as expenses. So the full-time planner I mentioned, the human services director, the rec coordinator, our tipping fees for, out of the transfer station, there's an additional 26,000 that was found out we're gonna be assessed next year. That wasn't in when the budgets first came in. I've added that in. There's, let's see. Add in the cost of doing a fall town meeting next year. I told you about the police and fire academy costs. Let's see.
Those are in the other 18.
Correct. These are all folded into there. The emergency management article that I told you about, that's included down in the bottom. The COLA for non-union personnel is included in there, as well as per diem firefighters. They're included in
Wait, the
that.
COLA is included in there
COLA is included in.
for non-union
In the,
in the 755?
yeah, because I had to include it somewhere, because it's going to be a cost.
So what number did you include? Because we haven't talked about that, right?
We haven't, but I had to assume something. to be
Yeah,
able
so
to
I'm
present it
just
to them.
wondering what you assumed.
So I assumed 3.5%.
Okay. But that's just an assumption, and we
Just
have
an
not
assumption.
even, we've not voted on
Correct.
that yet. Okay.
Correct, that decision hasn't
When
been
does
made.
the CPIU come out? Do anyone know what it is? Okay, thank you.
Right, so at some point, Kristen, you and I and Lee and Mike meet and then sort of look at all the the information, and then we have to bring it back to our committees for a vote fairly soon, right?
Right.
Okay, after the holidays.
And I would have, if we were presenting this after Christmas, I would have had an actual number, but I had to.
Yeah. No, I was just curious what you put
Yeah, I
in
used
there as a number.
3.5% because I thought that, I don't think it's gonna be below 3.
Okay,
But I don't think it's gonna be above 3.5.
okay.
Hey, Mike, can I ask you on the
Yes.
operating expenses? Does that include having dispatch go to regional and keeping like some person in the office at the?
It does.
And it includes putting some money in the fund so we're not left holding the bag in 3 years, or not?
So what that includes as far as dispatch is the full-time administrative assistant that's gonna be additional to the.
Department assistant, right? It's a less,
Whichever it was.
yeah, okay.
But it includes that position, and it includes the 209,000 that I mentioned that we won't be spending.
Right, but we're gonna,
But I think it belongs in the budget.
so wait, you're gonna put it in the budget, but then how does it carry forward? It can't carry forward. Wouldn't it be better to put it in like a,
Well, I think we need to make the decision at some point what we do with it, but I didn't want that 209 to drop off somewhere.
No, I get
So I had
that.
to put it somewhere. What I would suggest is one thing we might consider is put it into a capital reserve.
okay, yeah,
And
just
then it
something,
would-
because I
It would
can't
come
be.
out of there, but if I didn't put it in there, I'm
That's
not
fine.
accounting for it.
That's fine. I just, if it's in the budget, I'll go back to free cash the following.
then you end up in the same position.
Right, yeah, and that's not my intention, I just didn't want to lose track of it. I just think it's important to not go down a year to then have to come back up.
Okay.
Other things that are included in there, there's increase in fees for the Board of Health, for the health agent and the nursing services. Let's see. A couple of things that I took out of there that were included as part of capital were painting of a steel farm barn. I've looked at it, the DPW director has looked at it, it doesn't need to be painted, in my opinion. I kicked the can down the road a year for the town hall, and we can't put off town hall another year, so town hall has to be painted because we've got bare wood. There's no bare wood showing on the steel farm barn, so it makes sense.
We don't have a warrant article for painting town hall, like already
I
from a
think- I thought there's
previous
money
meeting.
sitting somewhere, like 18 grand, it wasn't enough.
So it may not be
I have
enough.
18 grand in my head, and I have no idea if that's
Right.
enough.
We should look and maybe roll that over to offset whatever.
Because we
I didn't see
did,
any for painting. There was some for, some
we
repointing.
repointing.
Right.
I thought there was exterior work, so I just, I
If-
think
if-
18,000
If
sounds
there is,
right.
we'll find it.
Okay.
The last couple of years, though.
No, it's old.
Oh, yeah, it's
It was,
been a
it was like
while.
maybe pre-COVID,
Okay.
kind of old.
Okay.
When I was the liaison to the building inspector, so.
Another thing that I asked Gary to take out of the capital plan for this year was roofing town hall. In general, the roof is in good shape. The one part that's a problem is at the entrance down there, the small roof that collects the water from 3 different roofs coming down at it, and the gutter and downspout. That's horrendous, that needs to be done, but I don't believe that the entire town hall needs to be re-roofed this year.
Do
I
we have
think
the
can-
skill set at DPW to do that, or we have to contract that out?
I don't know. I know we've got some masonry work down there that we have the skill set to do. I don't know
Okay.
about the roofing.
Just curious. We don't have a
Yeah.
carpenter on staff. Well, maybe we should get
But
one.
that's what's included in all those numbers there.
Oh, insurance, okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Tony?
So my question is about this statement of level services budget. So how can we say that if we're actually increasing staff in some areas?
Good question, actually. So in regards to the planning position for a year, maybe a year and a half, we've not been able to fill that position. We've had a couple of finalists who've taken other positions that were full-time with benefits, so we're not able to fill that position. So we've funded it and then not filled it. So I don't think that's an increase in services. I think that's getting to a level of services. On the recreation and human services side. So the people who have been running the recreation department are all volunteers and all have full-time jobs. And they, most of them have come to me and said, we are full-time employees and we're also running this program, which are great programs. They need help there. There was a person who was there in an administrative assistant capacity who was very qualified to be an administrative assistant, but not qualified to be a recreation coordinator, which is what I think they really need. Somebody who can help them to put together programs, to advertise them, to sign people up, and support the people who are in the field doing Flora Meadows and the other programs around town. So I don't see that as an increase in services. We're going to be running the same programs, but what we've done is we've burnt out our Recreation Commission. They really need a full-time staff to support them. And then the other position is an upgrade. What I'm recommending is we upgrade one position by one grade and have that person oversee the other three human services components. So we've got veteran services, which that one's fairly easy because we've got a joint agreement with Acton. We share the VSO. But then we've got community services, recreation, and council on aging. So you've got your youth services, your community services, and then your elder or senior services. If we take one of those positions and elevate them to be a manager to oversee the budget and the management of all of these programs, I think we'll deliver better services. And it's not hiring an additional person, it's just giving better services within what we have, not necessarily additional services.
So my comment is, I think they're good explanations, but I think it's, if we say level services, we should put some sort of asterisk against that, saying it's not, we really are actually trying to improve services here in some modest ways. It's not a straightforward level services budget. It's just about the optics of it, I think.
Well, wait, but the budget itself is level service, because those positions you're talking about are in the 755.
On the warrant.
Correct.
Okay,
The operating budget is level, but
right.
the overall budget is not.
No, but I think that then, as we go through and we talk to each one of the articles, that's something that is embedded within the article, right? Because the $27 million is level service. That is taking everything, moving it with increases.
Depends how you define budget, though. If budget is, to me, is the whole thing. Operating budget is the operating budget. Budget is the whole thing, including the warrant articles.
Right,
So
but
if you're saying you're level, then you can't then add in new people into that, even in warrant articles.
But we can talk to that on the individual warrant articles and say that within those warrant articles.
Sure, but so it's a level services operating budget,
Yes,
but
That's
it's not a
just
level
better.
services budget.
right. Well, if it gets voted at town meeting, and if it doesn't get voted at town meeting, then it's a level service budget, if all three of those warrants fail.
Sure, yeah.
Articles.
Agreed, yeah.
But yes, that's fair
Yeah.
to say, it's a level service operating budget,
Right.
but ultimately may not be a level service budget.
Correct.
Mike, can I ask you a question? We've talked about this before, about taking the recreation fees and putting them in a revolving fund and then funding the person out of that. Can we use that warrant article seed money for the revolving fund and then set up a revolving fund and have, because you're always a little behind, right? Because you'd have to pay somebody starting July 1st, you won't have the money, in July. But then use like the Flare Meadows and the winter camps or whatever they do, have that feed into the revolving fund so that position is funded out of a revolving fund?
I think that's actually a good way to do it. My initial thought when I arrived here last year was to fund the summer positions out of the revolving fund, but I think it actually is probably a better idea to fund this position, or at least part of it, through the revolving funds. And the reason being is we have to spend down below a certain amount by the beginning of each fiscal year out of our revolving fund. So I think that's something I've been given thought
Because
to.
is that recreation person a full-time, not a full-time person?
That was the intention, is for that to be a full-time
Okay.
person.
All right, well, I think we should look at using the revolving fund to pay for it, or a revolving fund.
Yeah.
Mike, can you at some point let us know how many revolving funds we have?
We actually have that, we get that from Kelly as
When I-
part of our budget
When I
versus
saw the
actual.
list of revolving funds here in my head, I thought my head was gonna explode. I couldn't believe how many there were. So I couldn't tell you offhand, but.
But it's not 3.
No, it's
there's-
significant.
There's a lot.
Okay.
Revolving funds and other special funds.
Right, because I remember back when we were on the select board, we had discussion about even doing it for the ambulance. And that we ended up doing that for the ambulance, was creating a revolving fund. So that was kind of my question, is how many revolving funds do we have?
Yeah, there are, I say in my head, the number of funds is unbelievable. Revolving funds is a smaller subset of that, but there's still quite a few. I couldn't even wrap my hands around it.
No, because what I was thinking
There
about,
are-
because when Becky says, let's do a revolving fund, I'm going to go, wait a minute, how many revolving
we already-
funds?
But this is one that already exists.
Yes, exactly. The RECOM already has a revolving fund,
Oh,
so
Yeah,
it's
it
not like
wouldn't
we
be
have to create
establishing a new one.
We
It's
might
just
need to
putting it
change
to better
language.
use.
Yeah.
And adding some seed money to be able to pay somebody.
That's all I have, unless there's any other questions.
It's a good start.
Do you want to put off taking a vote on the type of budget that you want to set as a policy, or do you want to take that up this evening? Either way is fine.
I mean, this is basically setting policy and priority for Mike to work towards. So I would put forth that we do a level services operating budget. And that's what we start with, understanding that maybe we have to make adjustments when we have more information.
Yeah, after seeing the numbers, I'm okay.
You more comfortable with that?
Yeah, yes, I am.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion. I move to set the select board annual operating budget priority at level services for the fiscal year 2025.
Second.
Any further discussion? Any input from FinCom? Love to hear you.
I think that, you're gonna vote that, and then we're gonna take a look at it and do the process that we always do.
Yeah.
And it will probably remain level service, that was our intention, but it all is very dependent on what happens with the schools. And what the FinCom's decision is with what is put in for the assessment for the schools.
Sure.
If it is above the 6.9%. But I think that that's a fair assessment, and that's what we had put forward, that we wanted a level service. Now, clearly, there's some pushback on the 3 positions, but with respect to a level service operating budget, I think we're
Well,
comfortable.
that's why I amended it to
Yeah.
what was written here to operating.
Yeah.
And what I think is great about the new positions is that it'll be our job to present and defend those on town meeting floor, and people get to decide if it's something they want to invest in or not. And if they don't see the value, they don't see the value, so it's nice. I do appreciate that the town does it that way. And again, this is policy and priority just to get to the next step. It's not the end zone. All righty, any further discussion?
No further discussion.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you get your marching orders.
Okay. One comment. I made a statement last year at the end of Capital Saturday, and it was that I was thoroughly impressed. I couldn't believe how good a job the department heads did at presenting the capital. And the response that I got was, this is what our department heads do. And I was used to, we didn't do capital, we did do a capital Saturday. We didn't do the budget Saturday. But I was used to seeing the wish list come out. And then it was a food fight and, kind of a tug of war to see which departments got what. And the departments and the department heads here are very responsible. I just want to reiterate what I said last year after Capital Saturday, after now working with these departments for over a year and doing the second budget with them. There are no wish lists. They put in really responsible budgets. And like I said, there were a number of things that got pulled off of this year's capital plan. There were some things that got pushed out a year or two because the department heads looked at it and said, no, what we have here is serviceable. We don't need to do this for a year. And I found a less expensive option for this. And I just can't say enough about the departments and the department heads here. You are very fortunate. We are all very fortunate with the way they carry themselves professionally and responsibly, like the way they handle their own budgets, I would assume.
I think part of it is you've created, at least me, I don't see any I don't see department rivalry, let's put it that way. I think that you having the regularly scheduled meeting where they're all together, they know what's going on, which, by the way, I didn't get to thank Ed Kukula and his team for everything I'm sure they did today, but only because the two chiefs were here. But, so I do want to throw that out there, anyone, I didn't mean to leave them out. But long story short, I don't see competitiveness when I've been in and out of different departments, no one ever is trying to get the ear of the select board kind of a thing. So I think that's to all of their credit.
Yeah, great job.
So, Mike, can I just ask a question?
Yes.
The detailed budget for Budget Saturday, do you think we can have that a couple of days in advance
Yes.
to look it over?
What's the date of Budget Saturday?
I think it's January 6th.
The first Saturday in January.
Why, were you going away again?
I'd like to.
No.
January 6th.
She offered to bring food.
I will bring food, I will cook, I will do whatever, I'm here, January
Okay, so if we
6th.
could have that like, maybe Wednesday? Is that doable?
Yeah, we can do
Actually,
that.
you know what, that's fair, because we were all talking about that too, is having a chance to at least look through it once, so we're not virgin eyes on Saturday.
What we did last year was we did it all electronically, so everybody could pull it up on their laptop. So everybody brought their laptops to Budget Saturday. It saved a lot of paper, a lot of time, and we were able to get the budgets out to everyone in plenty of time to look at. So we'll plan on doing the same thing again, if that's okay with everyone.
So for all of us, I mean, there's a lot of newbies in the select board. For all of us newbies, definitely kind of a what to expect would be great. Bring your laptop, bring your charger, bring your water bottle, yeah. So,
Yes
those
to
are the
all of
things
those
I will
things.
forget.
Yes to all of those things.
Right, but I'm thinking I should be making I'm gonna write it on my wrist.
And
Not
Mike, will you
bathe for
be
a month.
posting the agenda for the joint meeting, like
Yes.
you did last year?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we'll do
So,
that again.
and
Just as
Kristen,
a reminder, it's going to be here this year.
yep,
So
Yeah.
everybody knows.
it'll be here, it'll be hybrid, but it will be a workshop.
Right.
So we won't really be taking public input.
Right.
And Kristen, the budget Saturday is run by the Finance Committee, and Capital Saturday is run by the Select Board.
Good to know, too. Oh,
Well,
yeah, less responsibility, I'm okay with that.
I just
like
want
that.
to make sure, and I mean, really, we sort of jointly
Yeah.
run it. It's not that big of a deal, but just so that,
I'm sure you'll be as nice to us as we are to you.
hey,
The way we did it last year, and it worked out, I think, pretty well, is that we had, no, I don't know if Pejman will deliver her operating budget at a different time. Last year,
she did it at a FinCom meeting.
right.
She
So-
couldn't make it that Saturday for some
Yeah.
reason. She had something
So
going,
I'll check with her on that, whether she's
Okay.
gonna come to Budget Saturday or do it a different day. But we had the chiefs come, we had DPW director come, and Pejman had already given her budget. And then the rest of the budgets, we consolidated here at Town Hall. I started off with an overview, a little bit like what you saw today, but a little more in depth. And then we went into the different departments, and then Rajan gave a rundown of the different other departments that are in this building. And then we passed it off to comments, input, questions.
and we're not
from
going to
all
do
around
the
room.
school, we decided.
Right.
So,
No, we won't.
so it should be 8:30. We'll start the meeting at 8:30. I think we'll probably be done by about 1, 2 o'clock at the latest.
Yeah, it just sounds like. to me.
If we can keep everyone on track. We start the meeting at 8:30, which means if you want to get a croissant and a cup of coffee, get here at 8:15,
I
so we
might
can
make
set
some
everything
chocolate.
up. Meeting starts at 8:30. So,
I'm there for the croissant.
don't worry, I'm bringing you croissants. There is food. There's breakfast, and then there's enough breakfast that will kind of, as
Carry
we
us
get
through.
hungry for lunch,
And
we'll like,
Becky's
you can.
muffins.
2% milk? Is that the requirement? Okay. I was going to do light cream, but
Put your
okay.
order in, everybody, put your order in. We will accommodate.
Because I'm thinking of FinCom's now 8 members, right? So if we all are sitting here with our laptops, do we have enough tables in this building?
And do we have any other chairs?
I like these, but that's just, I mean, I'm just wondering, I'm seeing those 3 and I see this.
Is there tables in the other room?
We can, if we,
Oh,
when
yeah,
we get
we
it
can
set
take
up,
those
we'll
tables.
count up see if there aren't enough, we can get some folding tables from across the street. We'll make sure we get
But I
enough.
just want to
There's
make
tables in the other room.
Yeah, okay.
So, and just kind of a big square? Does
Yeah.
that work?
Yeah. I like to be able to see everybody.
Yep.
That's important to me.
Yeah, like a U.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably a U because we'll have the presenters
Yes,
yeah,
that's fine.
up in
A
the
U.
front.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so while we're talking about this, let's talk about Foxborough Leadership Forum. I get it. I've been on the ZBA forever. I was one of the original BLF members. It used to be an amazing tool for sharing information. I understand from many people who have spoken to me about it that it devolved into a bitch session and a lot of drama and stuff didn't get done. I would like to try again because I feel like it's important for all of us to communicate. And I think it's all in how it's managed and who runs it and if the group allows the drama and the bitching. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, I think that we're in for a tough 5 years. I'm just going to say it.
Well, I think we would have known about the schools if we were already having BLF, right? We
Exactly.
would have known about the schools like maybe a month and a half ago, as opposed to all of a sudden, oh, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I know there's no official charter because when we first put it together, we just put it together. But I just want to let you know that the select board is probably going to request that everybody join this, and we'll put together membership. And
When we did it originally, we didn't want it to be ALG. It's not
Right.
a
That's what we call the leadership
decision-making board.
forum.
It's
Right.
an informational
right,
group.
right. But it was an opportunity for people to, for those of you guys that weren't here, it was an opportunity, like if a specific department needed something, you got it out there early, you understood it, you had time to think about it and get the nuances of it, and then a sense from the group, is this gonna fly or not? And I thought, Gary, you were on it. Who else here was on that one? Okay, yeah, I thought it functioned really well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what drama you're referring to, because I
This
didn't
is just
feel.
people telling me, I
Yeah.
think it's a waste of time.
Okay, so then, honestly, it's a voluntary commitment. Not everybody from every board needs to go. If you think it's a waste of time, please don't come, because there was a number of us that didn't think it was a waste of time, and, the drama came in when you started complaining about the waste of time at the meetings. But if
Again,
we're
I
just-
wasn't there.
I know,
just
I
know
understand,
that I brought it up. I've
understand.
gotten
I just,
significant pushback.
I know that Mike was hoping to be a little more strategic.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about, that's ALG.
Right.
Right? BLF was just a way to communicate, so that we had all the boards that communicated. We invited the planning board, I think when I was the chair of the select board, to join, because it was an elected board, and it's the library board, and this FinCom, and the select board. Yeah, school committee, and they were an elected board. But then there was some pushback from the planning board that they didn't think it was relevant. Then again,
See, I actually think it's important that they come, because
I
how
do
do you
too.
plan for new growth if you don't know what's coming down the pike? Or if they want to limit things, that's fine, but I think that planning is a huge part of
I agree.
our financial
I
picture.
agree, because when we look at new growth, and new growth is down,
Right.
and there's only so much growth we're gonna have in our town, right?
Yeah.
Unless we sell these big tracts of land and put new houses up, and I don't think anyone's looking to do that. But it's understanding, it's down, but is there, there's a lot of empty office buildings that people are looking to redo. So, so I think it's important too. So I would love, and I'll put it on our agenda for our next meeting. I think that FinCom would really like to have it back as well. It's a great way to communicate, and really get things out there early.
That's my big thing.
Two chairs or coordinates that.
We took
forum.
turns. Back in the day, we all took turns.
took
because
turns right up till the
you took
end.
Yeah, okay,
So
and it
the only
rotated.
thing that we, for a while, Cheryl came and took minutes, so we would need to get a recording secretary.
That
And,
was budgeted a bunch of years ago at
Yeah.
ATM. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there was money for, recording secretary for select board, FinCom, planning board, and BLF.
I'm going to throw something crazy out here. It's probably completely inappropriate, and you could say, oh, God, Kristen. Foxborough News is here anyway. Why don't we pay them to be our recording secretaries, then they can write there? Why don't we see if any of those volunteers actually want to become the recording secretaries? Just throwing it out there. They're already going to all the meetings.
okay, well, you take that up with the Boxborough News, because it is a thankless job, but okay.
No, but they would get paid at least to be at the meetings and to take the
Either
notes, and
way,
then they
yeah.
can take the notes they wrote and wrote their article, and it's all very symbiotic.
Whomever it is that we get, that's the only we have Gary, so when FinCom's in charge, but Gary's leaving us in June.
Gary, you better stay in the building committee or I quit.
I'm thinking Gary might wind up being our paid,
Oh, can we can pay you?
So what we did, Dave, we would switch the chairmanship.
Was it by, I remember we did it
So
quarterly.
is it
So like
monthly?
in
It's a monthly
January,
meeting?
it was,
Quarterly.
Every 4 months.
Yeah,
Well,
quarterly.
That's how often we rotated. shares. Well, we meant like monthly, sort of.
Right, not so much from June to October, then it was a lot less, but like January through town meeting, we met every 4 weeks. And FinCom was in charge January till town meeting, then the select board, then the school committee, and that would, so.
It's not to add more meetings, it's just, again, you and I were
It's a
talking a little.
communication
Yeah.
vehicle, no, I get that.
Yeah.
So whoever is the coordinator or the chair for that
The du
particular
jour.
time, you send out the message to everybody, say, what do you want on the agenda?
Yeah.
And then, so that person puts the agenda together, here it is,
Mm-hmm.
ladies and gentlemen, and
It was, in the past, it's been sent out through the TA's office, like whoever's the chair works with the TA's office, and the admin in the TA's office, and then that goes out. But, I mean, we can do, towards the end, we ended up doing it ourselves. So however that works, that's something we can,
All right.
work through.
But let's pull something together and invite everybody, and we'll go from there. And I agree, you don't want to participate, we can't make you participate, but don't complain. So, alrighty.
I guess the question is, do you want to, like, if you do recording of minutes and stuff like that, do you want to put together, is there already a charter established, or? Because if you go
Not to
that
my
route,
knowledge.
yeah.
There isn't one, we'd have to build one.
Okay.
I don't want to get so bogged down with that, though, like, I don't want it to turn into, like, bailiwick over the charter. I think the charter could be super simple on who's included and the general responsibilities.
But don't we want to be careful, like, who's included? So when we decided to include the planning board, it was sort of I think the select board came to BLF and said, you know what? We think the planning board should be included in this. Okay. Then we didn't have to change the charter, because there's no charter, there's no bylaw, right?
Tony's got his hand up.
Here. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
you got
So I'm a bit unconvinced, I must say. I'm not quite sure what the purpose would be of another meeting to go to. We have, on the FinCom, we have liaisons with other committees, people go to other committees, we come to select board meetings. I'm just a bit nervous about another meeting which has not got a clear definition of why we're all there. I'm skeptical, sorry.
Well, the idea is that if we had BLF, you wouldn't have to come to every select board meeting. You know, if you chose to, you could, but the idea is actually to reduce the number of nights you're out a week, because I get that if it's done well. Gary?
So the other reason we did it was it's not owned by one of the committees.
Right.
It's not a select board meeting or a finance committee. It's everybody gets together. The reason we put it together originally was communication was really horrible between some of the committees. And so the idea was get out of a formal meeting. Back when we started, we didn't have open meeting law. We didn't even take minutes. It
Yeah.
wasn't required at that time. It was just a chance to talk and understand what's going on with the town. Open meeting law came in, we had to start taking minutes. But the idea is so the select board can talk to the finance committee can talk to the school can tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, we have liaisons, but sometimes I'm a liaison to the school. I report to the finance committee, but select board doesn't hear what's going on.
Right.
The school
Yeah.
committee doesn't know what we're budgeting sometimes, and chlorine water fixing at the well. Give them a heads up, that kind of stuff is happening. The idea was communication.
So the other thing is, the last time that, when we first put it together, it was when we were facing overrides, and the town was really fractured, and the committees were fractured, and like Gary said, there wasn't enough communication. And I see us entering another season like that, and rather than being fractured, and I'm not saying we have to agree, but at least it's getting all the factual information on the table in a friendly environment where you're allowed to say whatever you want, and everyone walks out friends. You know, it's everything you just said, but it's because I see us coming into financially challenging times.
One of our predecessors, Jim Gorman, used to always say, it's good not to have everybody thinking the same thing. You want communication, you want to have some discourse in order to communicate.
Yeah.
And talk about
yeah.
goods and bads of things.
We need other points of view. We can't always be in lockstep, because that means we're missing something if we're always in lockstep.
Well, and the other thing that I think is important is, over the last couple of years, we didn't have this communication, right? If BLF was a structure that was kept in place rather than being dismantled, maybe we would have had better communication instead of having the finance committee on an island on itself. Select board not talking to anybody. It was not healthy, and so And the way to make it, you know, to make sure it remained fractured was to like say, no, we don't need BLF anymore. But that was a problem because we weren't talking to one another. So, and you don't always have this relationship. I mean, I think we've come a long way between the select board and the finance committee this year. But that's not always the case. And so I think it's important. But I also think it means not everybody needs to go. You know, it really is one or two people. That's what it used to be. It used to be a couple of people from each committee would go and report. Then it was sort of like, well, I'm going to go.
Yeah, and you could take turns. I'm going to go in February. If you go in March, bring it all back. Make sure you represent the. It's.
I mean, we can look at it. We can sort of define it better.
Yeah.
Or maybe a little more structured, if that makes people more comfortable. But it really was a very helpful tool.
I definitely got to understand points of view. We were building. Did we have when we were building the library? I learned a lot of stuff I would not have known otherwise, and things that I might have been 100% against when I understood. I was like, oh, now I can advocate either way. Yeah.
And it wasn't always friendly.
No,
I mean,
it
I
wasn't.
remember Kashava and I used to fight
pens.
all the time. But
pretty sure
when
I
I was
threw
on the
pens.
school committee, we would fight in these meetings, and then we'd walk out and we'd be like, "Oh, how you doing? Good, good, good." Yada 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 yada. How are the kids? Great. So there was some contention. And
I was
it
known to punch Don Wheeler.
but it was
very violent.
It was
Very
a healthy
violent.
way to kind of get it all out there and then move on. So
Anyway, all right. Well, I just wanted you all to know that it's coming when I have time to sit down with Mike and Ray John and figure it out. Any other comments on that one?
No, that sounds good, but you missed one of the items.
Well, no, I skipped so they could leave if they wanted, and then
Oh,
we'd
okay.
go back to, all right, are we
Can
ready
I-
to close the annual?
can I have a
Oh,
motion?
please.
Can I
Yeah,
have a motion?
I move to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
thanks for coming tonight, you guys.
All right. Thanks.
All right, so the next thing is close the 2024 annual town warrant. Sounds like we have, what, 46 items on it? It's time to close it.
46, yes. That's right.
Well, Mike already went through it, the list and all that. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about it?
No, the date was set. This is when the information needs to be in, and it's time to close it.
Yep, and you know, I mean, if some emergency, unforeseen emergency comes up, we might have to open it, slide something in, but otherwise, we won't worry about it. All right, I move to close the 2024 annual town meeting warrant.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, check. All right, the last thing is select board and town administrator goals. So I'm gonna turn that over.
So this is one that,
Thank you. You know, you're good, yeah.
You do a great job with this.
so this is one where we probably want to spend a number of meetings in developing them. And I think that we all as individuals should come with some strategic goals that we want to accomplish. Goals for the board, goals for the town administrator. And really what we're setting and doing that is the goals for the town. What are the strategic initiatives that we're looking to accomplish in the next 12 months? And the way I think about strategic initiatives is, let's look at what Boxborough should look like in 20 years, and what do we do over the next 12 months to move us in that direction, in getting there. And if, if we came up with a list of, I came up with a long list of things last year, and I knew it was too exhaustive of a list, but the board was able to pare that down to a list of accomplishable goals that were also very high level and challenging to get to. And they took a lot of work on behalf of a lot of people, not just the board members, not just myself, but it tasked our department heads, our boards, our committees to get some important things done for the town. So I don't know if you want to start that discussion tonight, or if we want to go back and do a little bit of self-reflecting and then come back with some things that we can actually toss around and then maybe take over the next 2 or 3 meetings and revisit them each time and see if we can then refine them into something that we all agree to. Is, I think, yeah, these seem like noble and achievable goals. to get to. Now, last year, I didn't accomplish all of the goals.
Are there things you'd like to
We
pull
didn't.
forward?
Yeah, there are a couple, like one of them is the public safety or fire station. So that was one we knew we weren't gonna finish last year. Water, we didn't think we were gonna finish last year. Well, that's one that it turns out we were able to finish. We were able to get the, but I think it's good to have some reach goals that are worth going for, that maybe it takes 3 years to get to them. But
Do you have any higher level goals, Mike? Like, I mean, 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, like, I mean, you have some broad idea, like, I mean, from your end, that you can share with us?
let me give that some thought and then send you an email, if
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah,
Give it a little
because
more
I'm also
thought.
thinking like, they also talked about, I think we need to include, in that process, we also need to include like, I know Alec had the master plan. We also have to like kind of loop that in. And then we also have the hazard mitigation plan. We need to kind of get that in, the sustainability. So I think we need to like kind of pull everything together, when we think about that.
Oh, DEI, I mean, there's so many things that
The
kind of have
things,
to be
yeah,
put together.
so, I know, there's, yeah.
A big one, a big one for me would be succession planning for the town. That's something we started this year, and I think we made some good strides towards it, but there's still a long way to go. And I would like to see some succession in all the departments, as well as on all our boards, and committees, and commissions. That we're training, the future to carry on the mission that we're doing now, and so that we don't have what I noticed when I got here, there were a lot of starts and stops. A chair would leave, or a department head would leave, and then, okay, it's time to relearn from the beginning. And if we get some succession planning going, a little smoother, a little less time wasted in restarting it. So that would be a big one for me.
So can we go through the list from last year and talk about some of those to see if, I mean, like, I don't know, this was a list that you gave me before. It starts out with opera spending plan. Is that done? Is there anything more to do about opera spending?
There is. So there's still money to be spent, and I'm going to plan on giving an update in January.
Okay.
So that's one that I think we should continue working on. It could be on. I'm going to continue doing that, whether it's on the list or not. But I think that's one that we could leave on there.
Water project in the IMA. The IMA's done, but the water project is still ongoing, right? So
Yeah, it's ongoing.
that would still be active. Succession planning, you just mentioned.
Right.
Professional development was another one. Structure, staff, volunteers. I mean, Citizens Academy. I mean, they made some good strides on that, but I don't think that goes away. That sort of stays as a.
Yeah, those I think are worthy of keeping on.
Yeah. Employee well-being and staff appreciation was another.
That'd be ongoing.
I think that, and I think you've made some good progress this past year about, having, recognizing, coming up with the pins, having, things for other folks. IT strategic plan.
Sorry, Ray John. We're stuck with
Why
that.
are we sorry about Ray John?
Because you're stuck with it. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I mean,
So that's one that we've gotten most of the way through, but we're still finalizing it.
okay. Communication strategy.
I think we've improved communication, but we haven't really put together a strategy.
Yeah.
So that would be one that I'd want to carry on to next year.
Yeah.
Or at least consider.
And then a 10-year strategic plan with annual review. Is that the 2030?
No, that's more the master plan. A strategic plan, so that's something I would like to spend a number of meetings looking at that one and coming up with where do we want to be in 20 years or 10 years. I like to use 20 years
This
as a
kinda
focus,
goes back to
but
that.
a 10-year
Yeah,
plan.
that's-
And then what you do is you update it each year. And I think that would help get us to the goals each year.
Here, yeah.
Okay.
I think we need to go global and then make it granular from top down.
Yep,
Financial policies,
that's done.
that's done. We got that. Okay. Capital Committee,
That's done.
Done.
that's done. Policy review.
That started, but we could continue with that one if
Ongoing.
we wanted. We have a couple that we need to go back and revisit, like the field policy, the select board operations policy, two that I can think of. We did do the flag policy, but we're gonna send that back out for folks to review.
Yeah.
So, we may want to take a look at,
Those
a
things I
small.
think will be ongoing though, because things change, right? Like those, yeah, rules change, everything.
Yeah, address the need for new fire and police department facilities, you just talked about that. And sustainability been built into all decisions was the last one.
So energy efficiency and sustainability.
I found, I recently learned that sustainability was originally the Energy Committee.
Yeah.
It's like, because I was going through the master, the plan, and it's like, wait, EC, what's that? It's the Energy Committee, okay. Oh, I see, that's the sustainability, but, so one of the conversations I've been having with some of the committees that I've, meetings that I've attended, is to say, okay, I'm giving you the heads up, Alec's gonna be coming to you for your update. There was no update last year, 2 years ago, when, what's his name?
Simon.
Was here.
The previous town planner.
The previous
We'll
TA.
leave it at that. The previous TA.
Yeah,
Previous
that,
TA.
nobody,
Okay.
nobody was chasing that down at that point. So it's kind of like, okay, so it's time to kind of get back into that and, where are you with these, with the strategies and the actions and, is there anything new that needs to get added on? So I really enjoyed talking to Alec about the fact that he's kind of bringing that back in and making that document. So that was it. I mean, those were all the things that you told me about, that were agreed to back in March 13th of last year. So we'll just, so they're there, and we would add to them as needed. Add and subtract.
Yeah.
One of the things that was on the goals early on last year, and it fell off, and I don't know if it belongs there or not, was town center. And, I don't think it carried the same weight as the public safety building or fire station and the water. And I don't bring it up because I'm advocating for it, it's more of a question, because, when I came here a year ago, there were three things that the town talked about for 20 years. It was town center, public safety building, and water. And we did two of them, and maybe we don't need to worry about town center, or maybe it is something we should find out what are people in town, because really, we need to be, these really aren't our goals, it's the town goals. What does the town want of itself? What does it want to be in 20 years? Does it want a town center? And maybe that's not important, I don't know.
Well, I think you can look to the 2030. If you ask me, the 2030 master plan, what the town wanted is no different than what they wanted 10, 20 years before. The town center thing that's gone. Toll Brothers is there. That was town center. Like, that's what we were all talking about. I think kind of, people have consistently said, I want a restaurant, I want a pub, I want a dry cleaner. Like, people want services, but I don't think it's town center. We don't own town center. You know what I mean? So I think that you're looking at it I think you're looking at it, as much as this is a bad word right now, economic development, and encouraging whatever. So I think it's more that. The town center, that ship sailed.
Yeah.
Because that town center actually goes from the skating rink to the
Yeah.
hotel, right? I
Right.
mean, it's just, it's basically the strip,
Right.
on 111, and
Right.
how to develop that.
And again, going back in time, when that zoning was put in place, it was because there were the people that were on the boards and the committees at the time had a very specific vision of what they wanted Boxford to look like. And that's when the design review committee was put together. All of these things were put together to kind of try to control that development without any real acknowledgement of the economy or the fact that it's all privately owned property. So there were, so anyway, so I think it's going back to the 2030 master plan. It's been consistent. I don't think it's going to change. If we were going to start all over with charrettes and all that good stuff. I think that would be a waste of energy personally. One other thing I wanted to bring up, when we were at Two Friends Chocolates giving them their award, I had this kind of epiphany. We were talking about water, and I'm like, all the roads are open. They were putting in water lines. Why aren't we looking at sewer? And Lori Trahan had somebody with her who said, there's money for that, I mean, it's at the state level, and that we should get in touch with him. And of course, I have lost his card. I don't know if we can get in touch. But I actually think now's the time to be looking at running sewer down Swanson, down Codman, and down Mass Ave. Even if it's just getting basic infrastructure in place, let's look at what the state is offering. Because like I said, I think about it when they opened up Hill Road for the gas line. It was open. There were deep trenches. What else should we have been putting down Hill Road at that point? Probably Littleton Town Water, since they're stubbed right there. Meanmore is on Littleton Water. But at any rate, to me, that's going to be something that we should be really looking at, because that would change everything. We could have restaurants. We could have the dry cleaners. We could have all the things people want if we had sewer. So if people don't really want that economic development, then they'll vote, then they won't want sewer, quite frankly. But that's the only way to turn 111 into something. And then we've already got the design limitations baked into town center zoning. It's already there. It's just that the sewer would allow us to develop it. So I would just throw that out, that we should really be looking at sewer. If the state has money, why wouldn't we be looking at it now? I don't know where to start. That's on you guys.
So does that fall into the water resources?
I don't know. That's why I'm kind of saying I'm dropping in your lap, because it was brought up, and it was brought up that there's money, and there was an invitation from Lori's office to say, engage with us, let's talk. We just haven't had a chance to do it. So I want to
I have his contact information. I can reach out to him and find out what does that mean. And, maybe the goal is look into the feasibility of, because I don't think that's something we're going to do in a year.
No.
But
it's something we should be doing as quickly as possible.
Right.
Because if the roads are open and we're digging trenches and we're going to repave, that window's going to open and close. Not to be silly, but the road's going to open and close, and then it's no longer an option.
Right.
And I just have to think there has to be efficiencies if we've already doing all of that work. We're running pipe, and yes, I understand we need a sewage treatment plant. We need all those things. But what I've gone down a path here. I went too into the weeds. But I guess even if we only got the pipe in the ground and we figured out where the treatment was later, and I don't know if that's possible.
So, this is because of the water line? Mm-hmm. Can the water line and the sewer line be close to each other?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know with new construction, we're opening it up, and the water and sewer and the power are all in conduits in the same trench. We're not opening different trenches for everything, but I don't know if that's different to bring sewer into a house in Acton versus sewer down Mass Ave. I don't have that level of information.
Yeah,
I just know that for a single-family house,
just-
it's an 8-foot trench.
Yeah. I'm just
So,
trying to close that.
And it'd be worth finding, I guess what's the appetite of the community for the betterments. And I don't know that answer either.
right, but I just feel like our window of opportunity, when you said the IMA is already signed, I thought, oh geez, that's right. You tickled my memory there, that this is it, to look into it. Is there a timeline for that? When they want to get started? The well's already dug, right? In Littleton?
Yeah, so the timeline is they're gonna start construction next June, and take a year of construction, so it'll be ready in a year and a half.
So June, that's not far
No.
off, so if we need to talk about this.
If it's even an opportunity, yeah.
Yeah,
If
it
it
could be
is,
now,
great.
yeah.
If it's not, it's not. But I just feel like we should be jumping on that. My interest was piqued when they said the state had money for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it could be huge for new growth, for services. I mean, it could be huge for us if we had sewer. And actually, sewer for all those condos would be huge. When you think about what Harvard Ridge and Brook Village went through with their septic systems, I don't even know how Common Hill has one. They sit surrounded by a pond.
Yeah.
So.
Wetlands, right, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So yeah, I'd love to throw that out there. All right, I shiny squirreled you guys. I'm sorry. All right. I think we all probably do need time to process it. And then I do like how you kind of put it, what the select board has in terms of vision for the town, and then our vision for what your goals should be meshed with what your vision, what the goals should be, so we can bring it all back to the town. So that gives us a little bit of a,
You know, along those same lines, Alec has had his meetings over the summertime to get input from town residents. Complete Streets,
Yep.
library, and there was a third one, I forget what the third one was. But he was gonna be presenting that at some point soon.
oh,
As I understood it.
should we
from
look
him.
into that?
I think he already did those individual presentations that you're talking about, but like, was he like going to give us like a summary of what?
I think they were done
happened
at
about that?
planning board, right?
Yeah, I think he was gonna put them all together and present. This is, because I never got the results. I was I think the only one I attended was the Complete Streets. But I never got the summary of what happened at that.
Right.
You know, what he learned from that meeting, you know, what the people were saying. I mean, we all filled out things on the tables and handed them in, and that was it. So he was gonna be pulling it back. So maybe we wanna hear from him before we start, you know, going off in another direction. Maybe it's okay to go out in another direction too, but it would
I
be
think
good.
my only
to-
concern is it was a very small microcosm of the town that attended those things.
I was thinking the same
Very,
thing.
very small microcosm, so I'm not
It was.
sure that that's an indication of the town's intentions.
I wouldn't, well, I think, you know, there was some consistency, because I think you were at the Complete Streets, right?
No,
Oh, you
I was in
weren't?
Wellfleet.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're in Wellfleet, okay. Because there was a lot of talk about Hill Road and the traffic on Hill Road. So, I mean, so there was some consistent themes that did come out, so.
Right.
But I hear what you're saying, it wasn't a large, diverse group,
Yeah.
but they provided input. So it's like, okay, so what's the input? And where does it get published? I mean, why sit in and attend a meeting if the information's not gonna go anywhere?
Well, we could ask.
I can find out, you know, if Alex got that on a, you know,
I think I
shared on a
think he
drive or
mentioned he
something.
was intending to present it, and maybe it's sometime in January, but.
Okay. No, it'd be great to get that done before we get really in the weeds for town meeting. I guess, and again, this is gonna be my opinion, like, to me, town water and sewer is just such a no-brainer. If it's something we can bring in now, just because of our wetlands keep expanding, not shrinking, I don't know. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, the locations that the sewer would be brought in with town water are already fully built out. The only thing it would really allow us to do, because is that the existing strip malls that we have would be able to do more. The rink would be able to have a real restaurant, like, it just, so we have to be careful that we don't scare people. It's not like we're gonna become 2A. You know, it just, because of the wetlands that are already there, it's gonna allow the businesses that are there to thrive and not have to worry about water and flushing. But anyway, we'll get there. All right. All right. I think that's everything on the agenda.
So,
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Priya, would you like to second that motion? All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Not bad, you guys, 9:30. Not bad. Thank you, everybody. We got a lot done tonight.